Good afternoon again. We're going into regular session as Mayor and City Council meeting. This regular session is 6 p.m. Wednesday, July 10th at the complex here, Chamber. And I call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And remain standing also for invocation after the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation will be given by Father Ernie Nogales. Please approach the podium. St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. Thank you, Father.
Honorable Mr. Mayor, esteemed council members, thank you for inviting me to do the invocation. God be with you. Let us pray. God of justice and mercy, of strength and wisdom, you are the source of inspiration and power. We thank you for all the blessings you bestow on us. We thank you for this beautiful land and for the diversity of people who live and work here. We thank you especially for your faithful servants who work in city government. We know that you have no body on earth but ours, no hands but ours, no feet but ours. Ours are the eyes by which your divine compassion looks out into the world. Ours are the feet with which you go about doing good. Ours the hands by which you bring blessing on others. Please guide our minds and hearts, direct our actions, focus our commitment in all that we do. Help us to remember your teaching and your example. Inspire us and strengthen us that we may faithfully do what you expect of us. Feed the poor, clothe the naked, comfort the afflicted, and welcome the stranger. We ask this in your name, O God of power and mercy. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Father. Please be seated. Okay. Item number 4 is call to the public. I'll have, first speaker is Linda Rushton. Say your name and your address for the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Daly, council members. About May 5th, or 25th, I was sitting watching TV and saw an ad that said, "Paint what matters." Benjamin Moore is going to do main streets in 20 cities across the United States and Canada, and they will provide everything, including the paint, the colors, we have our own designer, and the labor. It would cost us nothing. Well, I saw that ad about twice. Then I thought, we need to do this. So I submitted Nogales as a designated city. Now, so when I clicked on the map, Flagstaff was there. Flagstaff, they don't need to be painted. Nogales needs to be painted. So I wrote a little note and sent out emails to everyone that I knew, and we got the ball rolling. I then went on vacation. And while I was in Idaho, I got a call from Benjamin Moore Paints, who said that the response from Nogales had been incredible and that we were on the short list. Think about it. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see downtown painted? So they asked me where I thought we should paint. So I suggested Grand and Arroyo from Crawford to about Elm, including the new building. So, okay, we went on that premise, and they kept getting more people coming in and voting. So we were very optimistic, and I believe Andrea D'Alessandro was, when she was down here, she even talked about it. You know, when you have 2,000 friends on Facebook, it has an impact. So, unfortunately, we didn't make it. But Flagstaff didn't either. So, I got an email from Benjamin Moore Monday that said, "Dear Linda, we'd like to thank you and your entire community for the support you've shown to Main Street Matters. We love getting to know Nogales through this process and hope that being a part of this effort has reinvigorated excitement for supporting local businesses. Unfortunately, we will not be able to include Nogales in the final list to be revitalized this year. Our passion for Main Street Matters has been so enthusiastic that we've decided to make this an annual program. So we hope to hear from you again next year." Now, let's consider year one a trial run. And let's make every effort to see that we win next year. It only requires voting, going to the website, vote once a day. That's what they want. But you have friends, you have friends, you have friends, we all have friends who will be more than glad to do this. Now, this will start again towards the end of May in 2014. And I will once again send out notifications. And it is my sincere hope that everybody will support this. I just can imagine downtown Nogales as a beautiful, revitalized community without any expense to us. Okay? Thank you very much.
Linda, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know you always put 100% to this, 110 and everything you do. Thank you. Our next speaker is Tim Burmer?
I'm just here to speak on a case if you could.
Okay. On the, what case is it?
It's the AT&T wireless site at the VFW,
Oh, okay, all right, perfect. So you want to speak during that?
if needed.
Okay, no problem. All right. Is that all I have, Letty?
Yes, sir.
Just two? Is there anybody else that wants to speak and talk to the public before we continue with the meeting? Okay, none? All right. Item number 5, Mayor and Council's report on current events. Mr. Diaz, will you please?
I'll try to make it quick. I went to a VFW convention in Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to the Arizona Commission, Paradise Valley. That was a nice conference. Went on the 28th of June to the American Consul's house in Nogales, Sonora for a 4th of July celebration. That was very nice. Had a good time. And I'd like to thank everybody from Public Works, all the participants, the Parks and Recreation, and everybody that went and had a great time at the 4th of July fireworks and celebration of 4th of July here in Nogales. A lot of people from Rio Rico came down. I just wanted to thank everybody that made it a great success. I met with this little, he's a junior in high school, Ryan Castillo. He's planning to do a Veterans Park. I met with him and Mr. Tony Shedwick to try and make this a reality in a couple of years. So that's coming along pretty good. And I know we're gonna be talking about baseball here, so I got something real quick, an update to give you on Little League. The Big Tree Rockets travel baseball team recently participated in the New York City Experience Baseball Tournament. This event was held on June 23rd through June 28th. 7 of our local kids had the opportunity to play in this tournament. They are Jesus Lopez Jr., Ricky Maitorena Jr., Mark Anthony Lopez, Pablo Rodriguez, Inti Gallardo, Sergio Gonzalez, and Alec Acevedo, who are also on the Nogales Little League All-Star team. The boys played a total of 7 games, winning 6 and losing 1. While they went with the mentality to play ball, they were able to live the New York experience as well. They went to the Rockefeller Center, they watched the New York Yankees play the Texas Rangers. They had a team practice in Central Park and took a harbor cruise, an experience of a lifetime for them. These boys are on the Nogales Little League All-Stars team for the 50-70 Intermediate Division. Adding to the All-Star team is Edgar Condes, Alec Ibarra, Danny Angulo, Danny Moreno, Alex Hernandez, Marcel Bachiller. The team won the district title against Sierra Vista in June and won the Arizona title by default. The boys are currently training hard to go compete in Irvine, California for the regional title on July 19th through the 26th. They will face Oregon, Idaho, Hawaii, and California for the chance to play in the Intermediate World Series in Livermore, California from July 30th to August 5th. We understand the players and coaches have worked very hard for this opportunity, and it's great to see their efforts pay off. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Vice Mayor?
Yes, I do want to congratulate also the staff and everybody involved in the 4th of July. I thought it was great, and the weather helped out tremendously. And all the vendors I talked to were very, very happy. The music was excellent, and again, I congratulate everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Parra, Councilman?
Same thing, this, we attended another Legion conference with veterans at Fairfield, Arizona. And we talk about legislative reports and when national security, we had a bunch of conference programs to go through. And also we're gonna give a young lady from Nogales an all-state, girls state government program. She went on her own, free will, she went to all the channels. You know, I think she bypassed us, we're gonna help her. But she did on her own, so we give her a lot of credit, and we're gonna meet her in the next meeting at, this coming Sunday, at the end of it, and give her a little token.
Good job. One thing that Mr. Diaz and you attended with me too, the Harvard students.
Oh, yeah.
So in case we go Cato again, we were together at that Harvard students at the county.
That's right.
Yes.
I guess also the same as Commander Diaz and Vice Commander Parada, as Commander of the American Legion, and participating alongside of those programs. And, I also attended with all of you the Tardeada at Nina Greek, the leadership team from Harvard.
Yes.
Sponsored by Santa Cruz County and School Superintendent Alfredo Velasquez. It was held at the Santa Cruz County Complex courtyard, and our local Harvard graduates, one of them was Miss Solinapa Greta, and she spearheaded the team there. It was kind of very nice to see one of our own kind of advance in that field and then come back and be give to our community. So it was a great event. That same evening, I kind of hit the road and headed out towards Goodyear, Arizona, where I participated in the Cities and Towns League Conference held in Goodyear the 7th and 8th for newly elected officials. It proved to be very informative. It was a nice event. June 12th, the 13th and 14th, the 15th, with all the rest of the folks here, I attended the Arizona-Mexico Commission meeting held in Paradise Valley. That brought the leadership of Arizona and Sonora together to continue working out problems of mutual interest and strengthening our relationship with Sonora, Mexico. And the nice thing was the week ended with a grand gala dinner and dance after the ceremony. So, that was also a very nice experience for me being the concept. On the 27th of June, I attended the final committee for the 4th of July events with a young guest, Nanya Fonseca, who wanted an opportunity to sing a few songs at the 4th of July event. And Mayor Garino and the committee members were gracious and gave her the opportunity, and she was very happy, and I thank all of you again for that. Later in the evening, I attended the 4th of July parade. Well, actually, it was the 4th of July. No, the 4th of July parade was after that, wearing both hats representing the city as councilman and also as commander of the American Legion. While we went through the parade, it was pretty nice. There was a nice crowd out there. Later in the evening, I joined again Mayor Garino and Vice Mayor Genesian and Councilman Diaz to help represent the city of Nogales at the 4th of July festivities in Fletcher Park. That was an excellent turnout, and everyone was having a great time. And I would like to thank everyone that was involved in that event to make it so special and a successful event. And so thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you very much, and she did well, very good. You said- She did really good. Yeah. She'll be, I'm sure she'll be helping us in other events. Thanks for this. Councilwoman?
Okay, I have also attended the Arizona-Mexico Commission. I attended a film projection at the Consulado Mexicano, Un Secreto de Esperanza. I attended the Mexican Folklore Show at the U of A Centennial Hall by a special invitation. I attended the 4th of July celebration in Nogales, Sonora. I also attended the rooftop reception and fireworks at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. by a special invitation from the president of the university, Mr. Stephen Knapp. We're also working towards the Fiestas Patrias events, September 14th, and we're also working towards the Semana Binacional de Salud del Consulado Mexicano. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the Nogales Fire Department for the volunteers that went to Prescott to cover the 9/11. I mean, really, thank you guys. You did a terrific job. And also, congratulate you for the 4th of July. I was not present, but I was present there and in mind with you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Thank you. My running list, on June 6th, I attended the Harbor Students Welcome Tardeada in the county with Pedro Velasquez and the council members. Great event. On June 12th, I was invited by the Nuns on the Bus Welcome. That was very, very interesting. It was an unbelievable event that they had right at the border there on International, and it's hard to believe the work that they've done, to show the need for immigration reform and for all the dreamers and all the issues at the border. These ladies are really working very hard, and I hope they're successful in everything they do. On June 13th and 14th, I attended the Arizona-Mexico plenary session. Great event. I attended tourism and some transportation meetings, but the most important part of it all is I had a meeting with Governor Brewer on the MC roadmap. Mr. Dilly and I attended that. It was very interesting, not what we expected. I hope there's more to it than what we saw at that meeting. I think Mr. Dilly and I came out feeling the same way from that meeting. I don't know, Mr. Dilly, I guess we both felt the same way, yeah. But it was interesting that the governor was there and she was paying attention to actually what the study came back on. So it was very good. I had a personal meeting with the governor also, and we talked about the border. I invited her to Nogales because we were supposed to, a while back, we said we were going to have a date together. And she said, where? And I said, in Nogales. She said, in the valley. I said, you come to Santa Cruz Valley. So hopefully she'll be here in August. I also had a meeting with Gobernador Padres from Sonora. Great meeting with him, personal meeting too. We discussed binational relations, and very nice man, and he has a lot of interest in his heart in Sonora and the work that is needed to be done in Nogales, Sonora, to help us out for the trade and to help us out in the expansion of the port. So very well, this 2-3 days that we spent over there, and I'm sure the rest of the council feel the same way. They attended meetings on those days. On June 17th, I interviewed with the Economist magazine on border issues. I also had an interview with Nuevo Dia and Canal 7 on paving projects and the Arizona-Mexico meeting. And on the same day, I had an interview with La Opinión from Los Angeles, California, on border issues also. On June 21st, I had a meeting, interview with Manantial, Radio Manantial, and also with the film industry office from Tucson, which was very, very good because those are the people that helped us with the movie that was filmed here and possibly future movies in Nogales. So those are directions that we need to go for our image building and future employment. On the 26th, I interviewed with Telemundo on the immigration bill and also talking about the border issues and so. On June 28th, I met with Mary Darling and Representative Andrea de Alessandro to talk about tourism for our region in Nogales. I also met with Santa Cruz One Stop, the presentation to you. It was the work that they've been doing in the summer program for Nogales. This program is very helpful for our kids. So it was a great presentation at the county, and they've been doing a lot of work locally. It's actually, they're learning the skills for employment. On July 3rd, I had the Binational Coalition meeting with the consulate from Nogales, Sonora, Chad Cummings, and representatives from the border, and Mayor Guzman. I hosted it here at City Hall. And then on July 4th, of course, the Independence Day Parade and the celebration. It was a great celebration, and like you heard from the rest of the council, it was good for our city, good for our country and our state. The salute to independence was our theme. The music was great. Everybody had a great time. And you know, we are very fortunate in Santa Cruz County. We have 4 events in Santa Cruz County to celebrate the 4th of July. We have one in Nogales, there's one in Rio Rico, there's one in Tubac, and there's one in Patagonia. You know, that's very impressive for the size of county that we have. We really celebrate our independence. And then on July the 9th, I had a meeting with the baseball, the Tucson Padres meeting, and I guess we're going to be hearing a little bit about that down the road. But that's my running list. That was part of it. It was a busy month for us. So I want to thank all the members of the City Council for all the work you've done for this month, and this is what your council did for this past month. Okay, item number 6, discussion items. Number 1, consideration and possible action of discussion item 13-2, discussion on the senior center. I placed this on the agenda myself because I've had residents from our city and people that visit the senior center and several occasions come to my office because they want to talk to me about certain issues and certain things that happen at the Council on Aging, and these ladies actually all believe that that's their second home, and they feel very comfortable, and they're at the time of life that we as a council, we as a city should help improve their quality of life. So it's a concern. It's a concern, and they have certain things that they want to talk about, and so I invited some of the ladies here because they wanted to talk about certain issues, and when you get to the podium, will you please state your name and your address, and then if you have usted también, si gusta. En español o en inglés no hay problema si gustan hablar.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Su nombre y su
Mi nombre
domicilio.
es Amparo Sánchez. ¿Qué más mi domicilio?
El domicilio, ¿ah?
120 East Lincoln Street, Nogales, Arizona. Perdón que ando un poquito ronca. Lo que nos trae aquí a nosotros es que tenemos un problema con el director del centro, el señor Jesús Cataura. El señor Cataura, yo no tengo nada contra él, sino que pues tenemos mucho tiempo que le sugerimos que cambie un poquito el menú y dice que no. O sea, él es el dueño del centro, ya no es de nosotros. Nos tiene sin hielo, no nos da hielo. Nos tiene sin aire acondicionado. Nosotros, ese centro lo usamos nosotros para como un momento de descanso, de salir de nuestra casa, de no estar encerradas. Nos vamos desde las 11, 10 de la mañana y nos despachan a las 2 de la tarde. Antes nos dejaban quedarnos hasta las 4, jugando baraja o haciendo ejercicios o simplemente platicando. Ahora no, a las 2 de la tarde tenemos que salir. Mi preocupación también es por los empleados que tienen. Les ha ido quitando horas a todos. Yo sé que está muy mala la situación, pero de 6 horas los dejó con 5 y ahora con 4. Entonces el chofer trabaja 4 horas manejando y además limpia los baños, barre el patio, limpia el piso, sirve las mesas, o sea, es todo hace de todo. Nosotros, la bebida nos da un té todos los días, el mismo té, tenemos 4 años así, comiendo, desde que él está ahí, el mismo té. Antes nos variaban un poquito, nos daban de Jamaica, limonada o alguna otra cosa. El señor Cataura se lo agradecemos porque dicen que está trabajando sin sueldo. Y pues si no le pagan, pues nos debían dar una poquita más de servicio. Yo en lo particular no estoy conforme con eso. Y yo le he dicho, yo se lo digo a él. Y se enoja y pues luego me vuelve a hablar y luego nos volvemos a pelear, pero así me lo he llevado yo desde que él empezó. Esto es lo que tengo que decir.
Muchas gracias.
¿Cómo también? Cuando el señor Cataura entró, perdón, se me olvidó. Nosotros teníamos en el banco $7,000 y un piquito más. El señor Cataura nos lo pidió prestado, que porque el centro estaba en quiebra o algo así. Y se lo prestamos a la hora de que nos lo iba a devolver. Ese dinero estaba en el Banco de América, él lo sacó de allí. Nos dijo, les voy a poner el dinero a nombre de ustedes, ahora sea de la señorita que era la presidenta en aquel entonces. Yo era la secretaria y Paulina León era la tesorera. Nos llevó al banco al Golfargo y en lugar de los 7,000 nos depositó 3,500. Que porque ese dinero no era de nosotros, que era del centro. Y ese dinero nosotros lo estuvimos juntando por muchos años, haciendo rifas, haciendo muchas actividades, y él se quedó con la mitad. Y hasta la fecha no nos la ha devuelto. Y pues se quedó con él.
Pero el dinero se lo prestaron, ¿para qué razón?
No nos dio la razón. No me dijo que era del centro el dinero, que no era de nosotros y que se iba a quedar con él. Entonces nosotros todos nos enojábamos. Nos dio enojada, nos dio la mitad y dijo que iba a compartir el dinero con nosotros y nos dio 3,500. Sí, después de varios meses de tener el dinero nos lo depositó en el Wells Fargo en una cuenta que yo traigo todos los papeles aquí y traigo los del que teníamos en el Bank of America también. Traigo las pruebas de lo que dejó el otro director y lo que gastamos y de pilón hicimos un viaje nosotros, los que juntamos el dinero, nos quedaron $2,000 y él mandó a otras parejas que ni siquiera cooperaron ni nada a Sedona con el dinero de nosotros. Y yo le rezongué y me dijo, el dinero era para todos. Dije, para todos los que cooperan, porque no todos cooperan.
¿Y el dinero ustedes lo
Después de muchos años.
¿Qué era hicieron, cómo
Bueno, miren,
tuvieron el dinero? O sea,
cuando yo
donaciones.
empecé a ir a ese centro hace como unos 5 años, estaba el señor Eliazar García. Cuando él se fue, me dejó a mí de presidenta de las señoras, no del board, de la mesa directiva de nosotros que hacemos ahí. Y eran $13,000. Entonces de esos $13,000 hicimos un viaje a Sedona, que yo traigo también los papeles del viaje, lo que se gastó. fueron $7,000, porque fuimos bastantes. Después del viaje quedaron pues 7,500 más o menos. Esos 7,000 fue los que nos pidió prestado, pero después dijo que era del centro el dinero, que no era de nosotros. Ese dinero lo acumulamos a través de muchos años, de hacer rifas, de hacer fiestas, de hacer muchas rifas. Ahora no hacemos nada porque no lo va a quitar, tenemos miedo que no lo quite también. No nos dejan de hacer actividades, sí nos dejan, pero no lo queremos hacer porque pensamos que también se va a quedar con ese dinero. No sé qué lo usará, pero nosotros estamos ahorita como si no nos sentimos a gusto en el centro, cuando era un centro donde nosotros nos la pasamos muy a gusto. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Okay, my name is Lupita Noblat. I used to be the president for the seniors there. And lo voy a decir en español para que me entiendan.
Seguro que sí.
Okay. Primero, yo les quiero decir que en el centro, las personas que van a comer ahí no van a comer gratis. A las personas forzadamente se les cobra $3 por la comida, más $1 de transportación a la gente que usa el camión de ahí. Son $4 lo que la gente paga para comer ahí, y ese dinero es la voz de esas personas. Cuando quieren dar su opinión, no se les toma en cuenta. Y si alguien da una sugerencia, groseramente les dicen: si no te gusta, vete de aquí. Vayan a comerse al zarape o vayan a comer a otra parte. Aquí no es restaurante, lo cual mi opinión personal es de que el señor Gataura aquí presente, y él ya me ha oído en otras ocasiones, allí el Senior Center, él lo maneja como si fuera un restaurante personal de él. Aunque, y ya varias veces hemos pedido ayuda o para que alguien esté supervisando o para que alguien esté al pendiente, porque yo aquí presente con los board members que hay aquí, estas dos personas, Amparo y yo que era también, absolutamente nadie tiene voz para hacer una investigación, para ayudar al centro, ni siquiera para que la gente que va ahí tenga respeto. Te corren allí, aunque hayas pagado tu dinero. Si la gente no tiene dinero para pagar, si tienen $1, si tienen 2, agarra a este señor el micrófono y te avergüenza. Tienes que pagar los $3, si no, no te da comida. No hay aire acondicionado allí, en el camión no hay aire acondicionado porque gasta gasolina. ¿Ok? Entonces, ¿a qué va la gente ahí? Cada vez van menos gente. Porque no es posible que ese abuso esté pasando aquí con la gente de aquí de Nogales, con los senior citizens de esta comunidad. El centro debe de ser recreación, recreation for senior citizens. The people that go there, they're not starving. They go because they want to go have fun at the center. Cuando hay alguna discusión, in any kind of discussions, it's always at the time that the people are eating. And then he gets the microphone and screams and yells and embarrassing the people that go there. Imagine, just pretend that it's your mother or your father being there, being yelled, being embarrassed. And like I said, food there is not free. $4 for chilaquiles aguadas. Huh? $4 that people spend there for a little bowl of broth that doesn't even smell like chicken. You go there, I invite the public here and the people of Nogales to go at any time before they serve lunch and see if the center smells like food. Smells like nothing because I don't know when they cook the food. It doesn't smell nicely like I'm gonna get hungry because it smells so good. Nunca huele a comida ahí.
Well, you know, actually, I'm a member of the executive board in SEMA, and the food should be free.
It's not free.
And if you want to give a donation, you give a donation, but you should not be charged for it. Nobody should charge you for the food. You should, if there's a need, it's for free.
It's not for free. You have to pay the $3. They tell you, you gotta come and sign the paper and you gotta come and pay. If you don't have the $3, you don't eat. Okay? And please, we need help there.
Thank you very much.
Because it's not fair for the senior citizens of this community.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Ms. Nogales.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Jones, Lupita?
I just have a quick question. I mean,
Yes.
I know that the senior center has kind of a governing board. I mean, what kind of efforts have been made to communicate these concerns to the board that's supposed to represent your needs and try to help you out with these things?
Okay, yeah. The board is
Yo soy parte del board.
Amparo,
A mí me nombró parte
Mr.
del board.
Diaz, Mr. Parada, Mr.
Norberto.
And Ms. And usually if you go to the meeting, there is only 2-3 people that are not there.
And
Here are there. The minutes that you suppose, I even requested, okay, the minutes to be given like at least a day before the meeting. The meeting started and there is no minutes.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Jones.
There's a reason why I'm asking, man. I know how it feels to be responsible, but not given the opportunity to try to help fix a problem. And I was just curious to know to what extent these concerns have been voiced to your board and allowed them an opportunity to try to help you out with these problems.
Yeah.
What's happened there?
Nothing.
No, you have talked to your board about
Yes,
these problems?
a few times, a few years. A few years, and they don't do anything. Nobody does. And instead of, I even talked personally and to Mr. Kataura, and I said, you here as a director, you should try to get more board members to see if somebody does something, because if people complain or they do something, personally he goes and says, we're gonna close this center and you won't have a place to go. That's what he tells the senior citizen, and to me, that's abuse, mentally abuse, because he's always threatening them. The center has no money. Like I said, the center has no money, but the seniors there don't eat for free. And we know that some of the food that is being served there is being donated. Can I still ask a question? Okay, a couple of years ago, the senior center got a grant for remodeling the building. Can somebody please let us know for how much was that grant?
It was $250,000 CDBG money.
Okay, to me, for $250,000, we could have a new building. There, with $250,000, it was only the kitchen that was remodeled. The proof is that right now, the seniors don't have air conditioning, or if there is any, in the winter, there is people there, they cover with a blanket in the winter because it's cold. It's been 2 years already that the center is been borrowing a fan from the fire department. A huge fan like this from the fire department. What's going on with the $250,000 that they couldn't buy air conditioning? The roof from the front porch collapsed. Remember?
Yeah.
So there was no new roof. Right now, they're painting the walls because it's a donation from Home Depot. The bathrooms, they still have the same floor, or they put new doors, but they still have the same stained toilet. For the women, I don't know the boys, okay? But there's no new tables. There was, I don't know how many, some of the ladies can say how many dozens of chairs disappeared. That nobody knows where they went, and instead they got new chairs because the other chairs disappeared. So do you think, or the community or somebody has to find out what happened with those $250,000? Because you can build a new place with $250,000 where you can put the ladies' bathroom only has 2 toilets and 1 sink.
I can tell you a part of it. I know some of the money was invested in the kitchen, the parking lot, some of the bathrooms, and then invested in the daycare center area. And, it was invested in the whole complex, not just the center. Invested the literacy program building. What else, Mr. Gray, was invested? Well, actually, it was invested in the whole area. It wasn't just invested, but the majority of it was invested in the senior center. We approved it as a council.
So it was well spent.
We want to say it was well spent. I don't know. I think it might have. We could have done more for the senior center, but one thing I can tell you is that I know of, the city pays for the light. The city pays for the gas. If I'm mistaken, somebody stop me. The city pays for the trash. The city pays for everything. So if we pay for everything, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a heater turned on. There shouldn't be no reason why there shouldn't be a cooler turned on, an AC turned on. We're paying for it.
Okay.
The senior center's not paying for it that I know of. Am I right, Mr. Kissinger? Or do we pay for utilities? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mr. Mayor, it's my understanding that the city of Nogales pays for all utilities at the neighborhood center.
Thank you, sir. So if we pay for all utilities, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a heater. Now, if somebody's trying to conserve energy, well, I think they're doing the wrong thing. Because if you tell me that in winter they have to cover themselves with a blanket inside of a building that belongs to the city of Nogales, then it's my concern. That means that the quality of life for the seniors is not right.
Yes.
They're not being treated right. So I don't know why the AC is not being turned on. I don't know why. We sent our staff to look at the heaters. I know that not too long ago, Mr. Kissinger sent Rodriguez and some people there to look at the coolers. Mr. Parra.
They need another air conditioning, and they know it. The sales team knows about what is needed there, but they need it's not there. They do need another air conditioning. It is getting kind of high.
But this is going on for 3 years.
I don't think it was in the bid either, but they did the revival. But at least needed it.
Maybe we should look that into consideration. But you're right. If this has been going on for 2 or 3 years, then there's lack of supervision. There's lack of interest for our seniors there. Because if there is a need for an air conditioner, the director should have brought that to the director of the board,
They did.
of the chair, and that should have been requested to the city of Nogales.
And what requested to the city of Nogales, but the city is no funding. You can ask Marcelo, when I looked at it, he was there. Polymer's director, and you can ask the facility director, Nogales, they know about the problem. But they say, there's no money, or you have to go ask. I mean, they know what the problems are, they still.
But if it's
It's been going for years now.
Yeah, if it's 3 years, Mr. Parada,
It's been there 3
and,
years.
or more, as directors, they should have placed it on the budget. So somebody's not, the city's budget,
Oh.
you should put it in the budget and say, you know what? We need if we need a AC here, we need an AC at the fire department. The director of the fire department will come and say, you know what, I need an AC for my guys. They'll put it in the budget and it'll go through us. So why hasn't it come through us to say that there's no,
We depend on the department heads that know the problem, if they can address it. Well, we shouldn't depend on them. I understand now.
well, maybe, are you the chair of the board? Are you the
Yes,
chair?
sir.
Well, maybe there should be more direction on the board side. And you know what, there was a key thing right now, you said, there should be more board members. Yes, there should be more board members, but by the looks of it, it looks like you don't even have a quorum when you have a meeting. And the meetings should be posted, like every meeting. Every meeting has to be posted to the public. The minutes are to the public. I requested the minutes not too long ago. And Mr. Kataura told my assistant that the only way he could send them to my office is if you approve them.
To the council, to the board.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that we don't do the food the way we want to. We go by the nutritionist.
I know
They
that.
send us a schedule for the whole full month. It's a rotation schedule that goes around. I mean, it has improved because we send out flyer. We had a survey to them, see what they needed, what changes they wanted. If they were content with what they were getting, and the response was positive, except for 3 or 4. But I mean, we had a survey to ask bring in your input. Do we have 2 board members? Well, I haven't seen you in a couple, a year, I guess.
Yeah.
It's all right, but I mean, we have 6 board members, Bob Clark, Joe Diaz, myself, and Mr. Paro, Roberto, and Mrs. Diaz from the Primera Altas Music. We have 6 board members. And I think I'm gonna put the police chief in it, I think it was interesting, so I'm gonna be there.
Can I have permission to take?
Yes, go ahead.
From here?
No, from the podium, please.
Bueno, para comenzar quiero decir que cuando el señor Cantaura entró, me pidió que si quería ser miembro yo del board. Y yo pues encantada de la vida. Ni siquiera sabía yo de qué se trataba, pero pues dije yo, de algo voy a servir. Entonces, yo no entiendo inglés, nos pasa todo en inglés, pero hablamos español, también está permitido. Había una como ambulancia que teníamos ahí y él la donó, pero no nos pidió permiso, nomás dijo, este carro decidimos dárselo a esta iglesia. Y se donó el carro ese. Nosotros hacemos cuanta rifa podemos para juntar dinero, todas las señoras. Entonces, yo pienso que el director también tiene que hacer una luchita para pedir donaciones o algo, ¿no? Ese carro se podría haber vendido y haber sacado dinero para el centro. Hay muchas maneras de agarrar dinero sin necesidad de estar haciendo más frugal la comida, más pequeñas las dosis. Sí, yo tengo hay muchas personas que trabajan ahí y todas se quejan de él, pero no quieren decir nada porque tienen miedo que las corran. Yo tengo quejas de ellas, pero pues con él no se quejan porque les va a decir que se vayan. Ya corrió a uno y yo pienso que él tiene que ser un poquito más, yo le digo que tiene que ser un poquito más flexible con nosotros, con la comida, con las personas, que no sea tan déspota, porque nos trata, él es el dueño de ahí, es como un dictador. Yo acá atrás de mí le digo que es como el Hugo Chávez. Porque se va a hacer lo que él dice nada más. Si le damos una sugerencia, a veces dice que sí, pero no lo hace. Y que me perdone si está aquí, pero eso es lo que yo pienso de él. Aunque yo se lo digo a él, se enoja mucho conmigo. El otro día, si no hablan para que vayan a recogerlas, no van a ir por ustedes. Quitó las líneas de teléfono, dejó una. Estamos hablando para que nos vayan a recoger. y está ocupada la línea porque el señor está hablando por teléfono. Entonces, pues no podemos avisar que vayan por nosotros si no van. Cuando vamos otro día que logramos que vayan por nosotros, yo le reclamé y digo, pues, ¿quién te entiende? Jesús, le digo, tenemos que hablar, está ocupada la línea. Y luego me dice, ¿usted la va a pagar la otra línea? Así me dijo. No, le dije, pues, ¿cómo se pagaba antes? ¿Verdad? Antes había dos, tres líneas. Entonces se enojó mucho, yo también me enojé porque le dije, no, yo no la voy a pagar, la tienes que pagar tú. Le dije, si hablamos por teléfono está ocupada la línea. Si hablamos, cuando venimos a comer y le decimos a la secretaria, por favor apúntame para mañana. Dice la secretaria, no, el señor Cataura no me deja, tiene que llamar. Entonces nos pone las cosas muy difíciles. Yo no estoy contenta, yo pienso que aquí hay los que si quieren pueden venir a hablar y decirlo.
Pues mire, lo que les voy a decir ahorita, que qué bueno que están aquí, porque aquí, y yo se lo he comentado a todos los nogalenses y a todos los residentes de Nogales, aquí es donde se arreglan las cosas. Aquí en el cabildo se arreglan las cosas. Yo no soy de la mesa directiva, pero aquí están dos de la mesa directiva. Si ellos no saben lo que está pasando, ahorita lo están oyendo. ¿Ok?
Nosotros fuimos con el señor Parada a su casa, pero pues es igual que yo.
Señora, usted sí.
Una cosita
Ok.
más yo,
Ajá.
que ahí en el centro no hay ninguna televisión ya. Cuando había cable en la televisión era porque nosotros lo pagábamos. Era cable y teléfono o algo, porque para ver un canal mexicano que se nos descontaban 70 y tantos dólares mensuales que teníamos que pagar nosotros, eso es una cosa ridícula también. Hasta que él lo desconectó el cable porque ya no teníamos dinero con qué pagar el cable, porque de los $7,000 que él pidió allí, ya nomás quedaba muy poquito dinero. Y como ya nomás no había ni $100, pues ya no alcanzaban los 70 y tantos para pagar el cable.
Y
Ya no es cable.
tienen documentos, tienen récord de los $7,000 ustedes.
Yo nomás tengo de lo que después de varios meses de que se le estuvo peleando que pagara los $7,000, él nomás después, a los 9 meses de haber agarrado el dinero, pagó nomás $3,500. Y él nunca ha reportado, nunca ha dicho nada en qué gastó los 7,000 ni nada, porque a fuerzas nos pagó los 3,500, porque él dice allí, delante de mí, delante de los board members, él ha dicho, aquí los seniors son una bola de gente que no sabe ni lo que dice ni lo que come. Que yo le respondí, pues estás muy equivocado, porque la mentalidad de un senior es muy grande. Yo aprendo de ellos ahí, yo aprendo, pero así grosero. Acuérdense, los que no son seniors lo van a hacer, y los que somos seniors nos vamos a defender.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
¿Usted?
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Gracias, Alemán. Únicamente vengo yo a apoyar a mis compañeras. Todo lo que dijeron es verdad, y allí hay otras compañeritas mías que deberían de pagar y venir también, porque tienen bastantes cosas.
Entonces yo pido permiso para hablar.
Seguro, pásale.
Gracias.
Pásale, Irma.
Gracias.
Sí.
Pásale ustedes para que...
Muchas gracias.
Me estaban apurando para venir y ahora no quieren hablar.
Perdonen mi voz, pero así hablo yo.
Ustedes no se mortifiquen.
Cuando yo empecé a ir al Senior Center, yo iba cerquita allí, vi cuando inauguraron el edificio.
Sí.
Yo iba con
Antes de nada, ¿su nombre, por favor?
Carmen Lizárraga,
Para que lo pongan.
sus
Ok.
órdenes.
Muchas gracias. Ajá.
Entonces yo empecé a ir porque iba con las personas médicas que dan de los diabéticos.
Sí.
Y ellas me dijeron, ve al Senior Center mandar flores cuando alguna de las personas se iban al cielo. La otra era para cuando alguien necesitara, tuviera una necesidad y era una ayuda. ¿Sí? Entonces, últimamente pasó que murió un señor que muy calladito él donaba no $3, $100, $200. Cuando murió el señor, va la señora que le ayuda al señor Cataona y dice, necesitamos cooperación para comprar el ramo de flores. No lo pensé. Yo dije, ¿cómo es posible que andes pidiendo dinero cuando el centro lo pone? Cuando el centro manda el ramo de flores. Se volteó la señora y dijo, ¿y tú por qué estás aquí? Porque eres una muerta de hambre. Así me dijo. Entonces yo digo, esos $3 no los está uno donando, se los están cobrando y se desaparece. El dinero ese no existe. Porque cuando se necesita algo, no hay. Simple y sencillamente, esa es una de las cosas que a mí no me gusta. Porque no dona uno los $3, se lo exige y no te dan recibo. Y según la ley, debe de dar recibo si lo dono y recibo si me lo cobran. Porque donde quiera te dan recibo, porque ahí no. Entonces yo, es todo lo que digo ahorita, porque hay muchas cosas más. Pero ahí me quedo.
Okay, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Padre, ¿quiere hablar usted? Pásale. Pásale usted también.
Mi nombre es Irma Rodríguez. En una ocasión me quejé de que todos los días era pollo y pollo. Y el Señor me contestó que me fue a un restaurante. Hasta ahí quedó. Ahora me he fijado, yo tengo 14 años yendo al comedor. Los manteles tienen más de 4 años que no se cambian. ¿Por qué? ¿Quién sabe? Las cocineras no tienen tiempo para comer. Ellas comen paradas, atrás del estufa, no deben darle a nadie. El señor Cataúa está mortificando mucho a Consuelo, presionándola. Según él, quiere enseñarla. Ella tiene más de 30 años de servicio. Es todo.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Pues, se los agradezco mucho que hayan estado aquí con nosotros y estoy seguro que como me abrieron los ojos a mí, espero que se le hayan abierto los ojos a los demás regidores aquí y a las personas que están aquí en esta sesión. Esta es una organización, el centro, que debemos de depender de que se estén haciendo las cosas bien. Debemos, como alcalde yo y los regidores, debemos de asegurar que la calidad de vida para los residentes de tercera edad de nuestra comunidad es lo mejor que existe. Eso tenemos que ver nosotros. Yo sé que ustedes están muy decepcionadas, pero esto, se los voy a asegurar yo ahorita. No sé qué vaya a seguir de aquí, pero aquí están 2 miembros de la mesa directiva, o 3 con usted. Es necesario que ellos hagan algo, porque una de las cosas que nosotros como regidores sí podemos hacer, todo lo que tenga que ver con ese edificio, nosotros somos responsables. El contrato del edificio, el mantenimiento del edificio, de todo ese centro. Sino que por ese lado, yo voy a asegurar con la oficina del señor Machado que todo está bien ahí, que los contratos están bien y que todas esas cosas ilegalmente ver qué se puede hacer. Yo voy a volver a la sesión board de la SIGO. Cuando vuelva voy a hablar con Kathleen y con otros representantes allá y les voy a decir lo que está pasando y voy a hacer un reporte allá también yo. Y eso se los aseguro yo que lo voy a hacer ahorita. Muchas gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Ahorita no quiero tomar ninguna decisión de esta porque se me hace que se necesita un poquito más de investigación y no sé si nuestro señor Pará.
Yo digo que ahí está el señor Catadura que puede contestar una de las cosas que sacaron la señora, pero esto sí le puedo asegurar a todo el mundo que está aquí adentro. Las horas se tienen que cortar porque no hay dinero. El centro necesita $250,000 para operar. Estamos operando $175,000 hoy. Si no hay dinero, no se puede hacer. No le podemos darle gusto a todo el mundo, es muy difícil de trabajo. ¿No? Es difícil tener a todos lo que quieren de comer. Y por eso recibimos de acciones. La señora Sánchez fue y la otra señora que está en la casa. Aquí está la forma de que se da la comida por este mes y cada quien agarra su programa de las comidas de cada día. Y hagan ustedes, a ver, quieren hacer un cambio, pero que sea abajo de las órdenes de las operaciones, ¿no? Que pueda comer la gente.
Okay.
Con mucho gusto, ¿no? No hicimos para todos le dimos una página para que dijera quién necesita, quién le gustaría ver el cambio, si le gusta la comida o no. Y sí, eso salió bien todo. Ahora no podemos, no hay dinero, si no hay dinero, a Catagua no le han pagado desde junio, que no es de julio, no es de julio, en enero, no puede porque no hay dinero. El señor Mark Clark nos consiguió $5,000 para poder seguir otro mes ahí en el centro.
Pues,
y le agradecemos mucho al señor porque ayuda mucho en la mesa directiva. Y cuando ustedes están en la mesa directiva, todo lo que han puesto, hemos sacado. Y se lo ponemos en las manos a ustedes, para que ustedes digan, vengan o vayan a la fiesta. Si no se le hace la comida de otro modo, si no le gusta, no, pero tiene que quedarse en la comida que hay ahí, que se puede dar. No podemos salirnos de darle comida que le va a hacer daño, es otra cosa.
Okay, the budget. You're talking about the budget that was no money. Okay.
Si quieres para hablar, que tengo unos 5 minutos.
Okay, you're talking there was no money in the budget. Probably now there is no money. But in one of the minutes that I caught, he reported that he was getting paid $29 an hour. If you say that you round it up by 30, imagine he used to get paid over $60,000 a year. So that's what I said. He used to run the center as his own restaurant with not investing a penny. Imagine over here as a restaurant owner who makes between $60,000 and $70,000 a year without investing a penny. And it must be, it's proving one of the minutes that it has to be $29 an hour. He used to get paid, and even I was there when Kathy from Sigo, when she was present at that meeting, she didn't even know that he was getting a salary. Nobody knew he was getting $29 an hour for running a senior center where there is no money, where there is no air conditioning and no cooler, and sometimes not even toilet paper.
Gracias, thank you. Mr. Catagura, you wanna?
Sí.
Yes, your name and your address.
My name is Jesus Catagura, beside 651 North Highland Drive, North Arizona. Let me, to start.
Mr. Caturu, you can lift that up.
Okay.
There you
Me imagino que, le voy a hablar en español, porque entienden las personas que no saben inglés. at the center, how I got, el primer comentario, ¿cómo entré al centro? A mí se me invitó para ser miembro como board member de la mesa directiva. Cuando yo acepté el puesto, que hace casi, ahorita serían como más de casi los 4 años, el centro, yo entré en marzo, era cuando estaba Irazal García como director. El board tuvimos que juntar más de $20,000 en 3 meses para poder cerrar el año. Fue con ayuda de la comunidad. Even the city donated $5,000 to cover that at that time.
That's when we had the contribution funds.
Entonces pasó, sí, como presidente. Después el centro ha estado abierto, ¿ok? Y esto está registrado por los auditores, nos hacen auditoría cada año. Yo les doné mi tiempo como administrador, ¿ok? Y los números que está diciendo ella no fue pago. Se hizo un reporte porque del trabajo voluntario que yo les entregué al centro, se tuvo que reportar en los libros, ¿ok? No se me pagó. Pero por el salario que no se pagaba a un director o a una secretaria, los auditores hicieron un promedio de cuánto era mi tiempo que le estaba yo donando al centro. No fue pago. Lo hice por 2 años fiscales porque el centro sobreviviera. ¿Okay? No era empleado, era miembro de la mesa directiva. Y lo hizo porque me nació de corazón. ¿Okay? Después, la mesa directiva me pidió a mí que les administrara el centro. Yo se lo hice con una comisión que iba a tratar por 1 año, con el riesgo que pueda que no había dinero para cubrir el salario del director. Otra corrección nomás para el público, con información pública, la mesa directiva me autorizó $40,000. Yo se los acepté nomás para ayudar al centro por casi 1 año. ¿Okay? Si no había dinero, no se me iba a pagar. Lo que está pasando ahorita, como el señor Parada hizo los comentarios del budget, del presupuesto, el centro se mantiene como casi el 60, 70% que viene del estado que viene de SIGO. ¿Okay? La otra entrada, que es un requisito de SIGO, no es del centro, y está en el contrato, nos requiere que pidamos una donación. No sé, si la persona no puede pagar esos $3, no tiene que pagarlo. La persona que ha hecho eso por años, y ojalá hubiera podido venir, pero es Armida Vía. Ella es un senior, que tiene casi 85 años ella, tiene haciendo ese servicio para el centro, es la que colecta el dinero de la donación, más de 20 años. Y se lo agradezco porque, para que lo haga por 20 años, mis respetos para ella. ¿Okay? Las donaciones, y cuando usted, cualquier miembro de la comunidad puede ir, están invitados. Donación es un dinero, sea $1, un penny, se tiene que estar documentado. ¿Okay? La señora Armida Vía, por más de 20 años, ha tomado esa responsabilidad como voluntario. Es senior, pero lo hace porque le nace de corazón. La donación pasa por 3 personas. ¿Okay? Se verifica, los libros están abiertos para cualquier persona que los quiera ir a ver. Si entró $1, un penny, está registrado. ¿Okay? Y así se respeta. Ahora, por los mismos fondos, el único comentario que yo les quiero hacer es, desde enero de este año, para no tener que hacer layoff staff, no tener que recortar personal, ¿no? Yo puse mi salario on hold, lo detuve. ¿Okay? Porque los ingresos no han entrado. Pero es algo personal que yo hice porque me nació, para ayudar a la comunidad. ¿Okay? Desde ahorita yo he hablado con el board. Pueda que de aquí vamos a tener una reunión en julio 16. Depende cómo seamos el año fiscal, porque corre de julio a junio 30. Si no hay dinero, mi salario, que es desde enero hasta junio, va a ser donado por el centro. No se lo voy a cobrar, pero es algo que yo trabajé con el board. Es algo que yo les hice porque me nació a mí hacerlo. Ahora, no es por decir nada. Si no fuera sido por eso, no estuviera abierto el centro. Porque SIGO no lo van a dejar que el centro esté abierto sin un administrador. SIGO es la agencia donde nos mandan el dinero del Estado. ¿Okay? So, con los comentarios que no quiero, hay muchos comentarios que son incorrectos, falsos. Y ahorita antes que yo cierre aquí, tengo 2 niños que quisieron venir. Y si hubiera sabido, y les prometo que para la siguiente reunión, la mayoría de los niños que están ahí, puedo traer 40, 50. Y para la siguiente reunión se los traigo que hagan comentarios a Accountable Public. ¿Okay? De lo agradecido que están con el centro. En cualquier unidad o haya, siempre va a haber gente, 3 o 4 personas. Ojalá fueran que lo pudieran comprobar con documentos. Son comentarios, cada quien tiene su opinión de decir que sea cierto o no, es otra cosa. Pero yo lo único que les puedo decir ahorita, los comentarios que se hicieron, que por ejemplo, ahorita uno breve, que me estaba pagando $29 la hora, sinceramente fue donación. Y se lo vuelvo a repetir, 2 años yo les hice un trabajo voluntario para que el centro siguiera abierto. ¿Okay? Y eso, fórmula que usaron, esos $29 los sacaron los auditores por el tiempo que yo les invertí. No fue algo que se me pagó a mí personalmente. ¿Okay? Nomás para que el público que sepa de los comentarios incorrectos que se están haciendo.
Señor Categura, te lo agradezco mucho y de veras, yo sé que cuando una persona da un tiempo voluntario es una cosa muy buena porque yo lo he hecho mucho con programas no lucrativos también. Y pero a mí se me hace que hay tiempos que tienes que buscar y no, ¿cómo te diré? Para una cosa como el centro, no debe darle vergüenza a uno pedir, ¿entiendes? Yo tengo 2 años y medio aquí, señor Categura, y nunca has venido conmigo a decirme, ¿sabes qué, mayor? Ayúdame con algo, ayúdame a hablar con alguien para que, como dices que el señor Bud Clark les donó $5,000, como dijo el señor Pará. Nosotros podemos hacer la lucha, nosotros podemos buscar manera, nosotros no queremos que el centro cierre, ¿ok? Y te lo agradezco. Si no te estás pagando ahorita, es bueno, eso es muy bueno, ¿no? Pero la cosa es de que busca por donde, ven con nosotros. Si no sirve el aire, háblame, yo hablo con el señor Tilly, ¿sabes qué no sirve el aire, Mayor? Mandamos a alguien para allá para que lo arregle, si no sirve calentón, mandamos a alguien luego.
Un comentario sobre eso, y se lo agradezco, Mayor Merino. Miren, y la mayoría de si traigo como 20 o 30 niños, los comentarios que van a decir van a ser positivos.
Sí. No te dicen a ti, se nos dicen a nosotros que somos los que hablamos.
No
tienen miedo. No tienen miedo.
Miren, déjenme explicarles cómo trabaja el centro.
Tienen miedo.
Y ese comentario tampoco estoy de acuerdo,
Claro.
Recibimos el dinero, muy breve, para lo que le llaman, les llama cargo del mío, son las comidas que se sirven en los centros. No nos dan otra parte para lo que le dicen home delivery meals, son las comidas que se entregan a casa. Y una parte más pequeña es para transportación, para mover gente que tenemos que llevarlas al centro y para a su casa. ¿Okay? De esos fondos que entran, como les vuelvo a repetir, es casi el 60% o 70% para mantener el centro. Quedan como unos 70%, como 30% en el aire, ¿no? Que no hay fondos. ¿Okay? Entonces, el hecho que usted me está diciendo que los aires, el centro no está perfecto, pero le agradezco yo a la ciudad por todo lo que lo hacen, porque si no fuera por el edificio que presta la ciudad, que no se paga luz, gas, agua, no podía estar abierto el centro, porque Sigo no aporta esa porción de dinero. ¿Okay? Entonces, el aire, el centro no es perfecto, la mayoría de los niños tratan de buena fe, y mis respetos para ellos. Están contentos por el esfuerzo que se hace. Les voy a dar un ejemplo nomás. El señor Cheverría es el chofer que está part-time, ¿okay? Y ese fue el presupuesto que nació, ¿okay? Hace poco falleció su esposa, ¿okay? Él me pidió que ya no iba a poder regresar, que por la situación, ¿no? que estaba muy enferma su esposa. Entonces yo no quise, yo dije, depende de lo que pase, me voy a esperar a ver si puede regresar, porque el señor tiene más de, si no estoy equivocado, más de 15 años ahí en el centro. Es una persona ya de 70 años de edad. para darle servicio a los seniors, para que no faltara la transportación, incluyendo yo, los choferes que entregan comidas en casa y la persona que está de mantenimiento y de dishwasher en el centro. Usamos 3 vans para llevarlos a sus casas. En vez de que les tomara 45 minutos a 1 hora, pues el esfuerzo que se hizo, en menos de 20 minutos estar en su casa. Esos comentarios es lo que deberían de comentar estas personas. Pero se hizo el esfuerzo para el servicio. El único comentario que quiero darles, entender o afirmar, es que se hace todo lo posible para ayudar a los seniors. Yo no estoy de acuerdo con los comentarios, pero no me voy a poner, cada quien tiene el derecho a su opinión. Yo lo único que les puedo decir, y no para quitarles más tiempo, yo estoy haciendo todo lo posible. Si no se me paga, es una decisión personal que yo tomé para ayudar al centro. No estoy esperando nada. Eso fue algo que yo arreglé con el board. Muchos de los miembros de la mesa directiva, como el Mr. Bob Clark, nos ayuda mucho. ¿Okay? Ese dinero que nos ayudó, que fue, lo donaron en diciembre, nos dio otros 2 o 3 meses de ayuda. ¿Okay? Entonces, yo por ayudar ahorita, es lo que estoy haciendo. ¿Que se me pueda pagar? No, es posible que no. Puede ser el riesgo que yo tomé. Y lo hago por ayudar a los seniors. Y antes de cerrar, nomás brevemente, para no quitarles el tiempo, quisiera, señor Ariel, ¿puede hacer unos comentarios?
Podemos esperar, pero vamos a esperarnos a otra. Porque we're going to go past our time right now. Muchas gracias. Sí, a ver, mira.
Mr. Catadora, you know, a lot of things can be said or not, but basically, the only interest I would like to find out is it being audited, and do we have financial records that are there stipulating exactly where the money's being used and how much money comes in? If they're paying $3, how many senior citizens are there every day? Approximately 40?
No, it varies. Maybe an average is about 30, 28, 25.
About 30. So if they're paying, and so it's roughly $90 or $100 a day?
Yes, the revenue that comes in, los dineros que entran de las donaciones, que se les llama de las comidas y lo pequeño de transportación, al año, ¿no? Aproximadamente el centro recibe como $25,000. Es un promedio. Si no fueran por esos $25,000, por eso es un requisito en el contrato que pidamos donaciones. Si no se reciben esos dineros, el centro no puede, le va a afectar si sigue adelante el centro. Ahorita lo que está pendiente, si no hay más fondos, como usted dice, Mayor, si no recibimos ayuda de la ciudad, porque ya nos están dando bastante ayuda, pero necesitamos dinero, ¿no? Funds. Si no recibimos dinero del condado, entonces la decisión que va a tener que hacer la mesa directiva, ¿cuántos días va a estar abierto el centro? Ahorita están abiertos el centro de Nogales 5 días, de lunes a viernes. Río Rico siempre lo hemos tenido 4 días, es por los fondos. Patagonia son 5 y Tubac es un día a la semana. Entonces, esas son las decisiones que la mesa directiva va a tener que hacer hasta donde alcance el dinero. ¿Okay? Por eso digo, I hope to answer your question.
Well, my question is, I would like to have a copy and audited. Now, here it says that it hasn't been audited. Is it audited to 2011 or not?
Every
when
year,
was the last time it was audited?
The last audit was last fiscal year. We get audited every year. Okay.
So for 2012, there is an actual
for the last audit that we have, and the books are open. I mean, we're not hiding anything. They're open to the public. Whatever you want to see is documented.
Okay, it's a nonprofit. You are a nonprofit.
We're a nonprofit organization. With a 501.
Has the city ever gotten a copy of your audited reports?
I can't. If they have requested it, yes. I don't remember.
But just out of kind of courtesy for whatever you're using or building, you're using. We're paying for electricity and all that. Don't you think it would be just common business sense to give us a yearly audit?
It can be done. I don't see the problem with it.
Vice Mayor, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion that since it's an action item, I'm going to make a motion that that we direct staff for so that we can come up with a contract for the building and do everything, you know, so that it'll benefit the center and we can get information like that and prepare everything through legal, so, Mr. Machado?
If I can suggest, Mayor, it's gonna be very difficult to work a contract specifically with a senior center without
With the whole
doing
thing,
the whole
the whole
thing.
thing.
I would suggest that we look at all of them.
Okay,
and
all the buildings.
And get them all,
at the
get
center.
them all done and so on.
I think that's the direction we should go, and so that we won't continue with this, and then, Mr. Catagura, it'd be good, you know, that if, you come to our council meetings once in a while and help the council with information, because I think that's important. Like, they came to my office 2 or 3 times, you know, it'd be nice if you can come in, because I like to know what's happening at the center, and I'm sure everybody wants to know what's happening.
Yes, sir, I can do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if you give me just 1 minute.
Yes, go ahead.
I've, when I retired, I started going to the senior center.
That's correct.
At the time, I think you were here at the VA because they were remodeling.
Right.
And I don't go that often, but I think I go about maybe 4 to 6 times a year. And each time that I've gone, I enjoy the meals, I talk to the people. Most of the time they're happy. I've heard, I guess, for the ones that go on a regular basis, they have complained about the same menu, the repeated food, I guess. But for me, it's always great because I don't go that often, so it's, you know, it's good food though. It's good food. And I noticed that when you do give the $3, they have a roster there, they sign you in, and they write down the $3. They don't give you a receipt or anything, but they do keep track of it. But in all fairness, and I'm not saying that this is not happening, because I have heard people say that, because I like to sit down with different families there and talk, and they do mention most of the time about they get tired of the same food. But and like I tell them, I said, you know, I don't come that often, so it always tastes good. But in all fairness, I have spoken to Mr. Catagura, and sometimes I see him that he's kind of stressed out sometimes as far as I guess, his responsibility to make things happen there. So I think maybe that's where it is, that sometimes you're struggling doing the juggling act to make ends meet there, so that he can keep the center.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's
I just wanted to mention that I, as a councilman, I wasn't a council member back then, but I have gone, I've gone a couple of times since I've been a council member. And I think if somebody would have had a complaint, they should have brought it to my attention too, because I circulate, I sit with you folks, and it's best to bring things out in the open, but it's good because at least maybe you'll all get together. I think he's trying hard, and I think if you all get on the same page, you'll appreciate each other for the efforts that are being made there. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you very much. Motion should be,
I don't think we need a motion,
Just
just direct the staff to start looking at all those leases.
well, we'll do that. Thank you, Mr. Catagura.
Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you very much. And what we'll do, Mr. Dilly, is look into the contract process and see
Also
overall.
working with Mr. Machado, and we do have one contract out there. We can just look at that and make sure that we're trying to standardize our contracts and bring something back to the mayor and council that would enable us to better define roles and responsibilities. I think that would particularly be helpful when we're talking about working on the building and doing repairs, and then it's not subject to, you know, the whims of, you know, whatever city manager is there or whatever director is there or you know, council at the time. It's defined in contract in terms of what those roles and responsibilities are going to be, and that also helps us in the budgeting process so that we know and we can plan ahead of time for those.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Members of the city council, are you good with that? Everybody? Yeah. Okay, we'll take it in that direction then. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes. Antes de que se vayan, pero no se me vayan todavía, porque voy a hacer dos reconocimientos y quiero que estén presentes, por favor. First of all, we're going to deviate and we're going to go to item number 3, and it's consideration and possible action of discussion item 13-5, retirement of police K-9 Tesco. All right, who's going to do the presentation? And Se nos va a retirar un oficial.
Mayor, Council, Mr. Zilli, members of the community, my name is Commander Eddie Sonia on behalf of the Chief of Police, who's not here, he's at another commitment, and Assistant Chief Roy Bermudez, who's leaving with water going into his house. We wanted to take a few minutes of your meeting tonight and recognize K9 Tesco here. He knows we're talking about him. He's 8 years old. We got him as a 3-year-old. Officer John Zuniga here has been his handler. I think his wife and 2 daughters are here. Renee, Valeria, and Jimena. Little Johnny couldn't make it because we were afraid he'd get locked up or something. But Tesco here is, he's been single-handedly responsible for, I believe it's over 250 vehicles have been seized by him. He's had over 20,000, give or take, pounds of marijuana seized from his truck.
You sure he wants to retire?
We're watching out for his best interest. He's got over 40 pounds of cocaine. He's got 30 pounds of meth, 7 pounds of heroin. He's been involved in 16 search warrants. He's got over, give or take, over 100 felony arrests. And you can see that there's members of his squad here, members of different agencies that he's worked with, state, local, county, federal. He's even being called to Tucson to work. Okay, for whatever reason that day there wasn't another canine available and they called us. And we have the luxury of having 5 canines. When we had Chief Kissinger, we had 1. Now we have 5. Okay, we had 3. Now we have 5, and Tesco's going to be he's going to be missed.
By retiring, what does it mean? Tell me what happens when he retires.
He retires and he gets to go and be a part of a family.
Oh, great.
Okay. He's he becomes a pet.
So
he no longer
does he
has to
become,
come to work.
is he going to be your pet?
That's my plan. That was our plan, and that's what we brought it and put it on the agenda. So
Because I mean, you're the one that's been handling the dog. I guess you'd be the person, the best one to be able to have him.
With the, I guess, putting the horse before the cart, backwards.
Yes.
Where it's up to you guys. If you guys decide we can pass a motion to have the dog retired and sold to Johnny, he's got the money in his pocket. He's ready to pay you.
How much is it going to be? Like 1 cent or 2 cents?
He's got a silver dollar in his pocket, and that's what we wrote it up as. And we're hoping that Mayor and Council will accept that.
Of course. I mean, Johnny, you know, I mean, you're going to be with us for many years.
Yes, sir.
You've done a great job, and I know your history, and I know your history with your dog, and you know, I'm proud. I'm proud of you very much, and I'm proud of the dog too. I'm proud of Tesco. He's done a great job, and so is the dog gonna?
Yes. Shake hands with him.
No le quites el bozal. So can I go out there?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
All right.
Can I go out there?
Don't fight the dog.
Yeah. I'm limping already. So what am I? How do I present successful?
Yeah, he's good. He's
I don't have any. Hey, wait a minute. Johnny, thank you very much. And Tesco, thank you very much for your work. And I'm sure you're going to go to a good home.
Son los que huelen la droga.
Sí, así es.
Y la gente que le van a dar droga.
No, los que me van a dar droga, no. Este es el que va a estar
Pues sí.
en su casa.
Por eso es que hace viviéndola.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, you come on
Ya
here.
lo desintoxicaron.
Thank you very much, all right?
Good afternoon. My name is Officer John Zuniga. I just want to thank my family, God, my staff, the staff here at the Nogales Police Department, my supervisors, and unfortunately, he's got to retire. He's getting to that age already where I've noticed, and the good thing about it is that as a handler, you kind of get an idea of more or less when he needs to go. So sometimes they'll last 10 years, sometimes it's 4 years, and they'll have a problem. But with this dog, we've had our ups and downs, more ups than downs, and I think I know for a fact that when we got him donated, we really got our money's worth. We bonded immediately, and I never looked at that when he was assigned to me for the first time. I never thought, well, retirement or anything to that effect. But now that we're here, it's kind of hard. I can imagine. He's been riding with me for 5 years in my patrol car. I take him home. I feed him. I got to take him to the vet, and my kids, they all grew up with him. They're all small. So, but for the most part, besides the arrest and all, I know he would protect me. He'd give up his last breath, like they say, and I have no doubt in him. So now that we're here, and it took me a couple of years, but I finally fortified my residence. He's got plenty of shade, and I bought him a partner, a female. So she's a little younger than him, but he really enjoys her company, and he's fixed. Yeah, he's fixed. I wish, but I bought her another German Shepherd, a female Czech Shepherd, and I know that recently the commander helped with we're going to get I'm going to get a new partner. And so it's kind of perfect timing because the transition is just going to be kind of smooth. I leave in a few weeks to Tennessee to go meet his niece.
And I was going to ask you that, Johnny. I mean, are you going to have another partner? And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, his name is Canine Deuce, and I even got lucky enough to name him. He was a little younger when we started the process, and I named him Deuce for number 2, second dog. Yeah. And it looks like he's doing really good.
Is he going to be a German Shepherd also?
No, he's a Belgian Malinois.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why we decided to go with that breed was just because they're a little more active. So it'll be 120 degrees and they don't care. 150 degrees, he just good. So I think it's going to be very beneficial. We'll get more out of that dog. And but other than that, that new dog that we're getting, he's got big paws to fill still, or big big shoes.
I'm sure.
But I just want to thank all my partners from DEA, Albert, DPS. He helped all these agencies out, Border Patrol, and we became one big law enforcement family. And they all got to meet him and work with him. I mean, on a daily basis. That's good. I just want to thank everybody, my wife, my daughter.
Johnny, thank you very much. And you're going to be with us for many, many years. And
I got 5 years, 7 months till I retire. But I have about 20 years, hopefully getting.
Your plaque is going to be different than Texas.
Yes, sir.
Where should you pay the clerk?
Oh, is that the way we do it?
They said it was $1. I got myself $1 here.
So now wait for the vote, I guess.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion for Officer Zuniga to buy Tesco for $1.
Perfect.
Wait a minute. And direct us to prepare the appropriate paperwork.
And direct staff to prepare the appropriate documents.
Perfect. Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay. Discussion. I guess we don't need discussion because the dog said it all, and Johnny said everything, and let's continue the good service, Johnny. And with Jules,
Yes,
We're gonna
you'll meet him, we'll bring
so
him in.
you're gonna be going to Tennessee, you said?
Yes, we'll bring him in when he's ready to go.
He knows he's going. See, that the problem is, you know, I think the problem was when you said there was a girlfriend. So,
We'll bring him in here soon.
okay, then, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You guys have it, Johnny? Thank you. Thank you, man. You got Tesco.
Good job.
Thank you. Okay, so how do you go about this? We're gonna flip the coin? Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, what we're gonna do before we go into item number 2, while I was doing my mayor and council's report, I missed something that I needed to do. I invited Mr. Saulo Bonilla to be present. Saulo es una persona, nomás para que sepan ustedes, ya tiene muchos años ayudándonos con el sonido en el 4 de julio. And Saulo has done a great job. And matter of fact, this year's 4th of July music was so precise with the fireworks that matter of fact, he was gonna, that day, 2 days prior to 4th of July, he was gonna bring me the tape and say, you know, Mayor, you wanna hear it? And I kind of felt that I needed to hear it, and then he didn't show up, and then I called him, and then he didn't call me back, and I said, oh my God, what's happening? But when it came out on the 4th of July and the fireworks, Saulo, I wanna thank you very much for all the work, and I have a certificate of appreciation for your work. Yeah. He's been doing it for several years now, and 12 years now. Several years, 12 years. And I'm sure he's going to be doing it for many, many more years for us. Thank you, Saulo. Muchas gracias. Okay, we're going back to item number 2. Consideration, possible action of discussion, item 13-3, discussion, direction, reference U.S. Border Patrol plans for border deterrent. I placed this on the agenda myself too. And the reason I placed it on the agenda is I had the chief of our local border patrol, Leslie Lawson, came up in my office, and she presented me with some plans in reference to some work that they want to do along the border. And what it is that at this point, it looks like they are going to do it, and I think they did it at San Diego. That's why I needed to present it to you, members of the City Council. They're going to be placing Constantine wire, razor wire, on the fence. Okay, and for what I understand, the wire's not going to be on top of the fence. It's going to be like 10 feet or halfway up the fence on the American side. Okay, and one of the reasons that they want to do that, they want to use it as a deterrence. They want to prevent somebody from jumping. But because there's been a lot of injuries, and broken ankles, hips, and different injuries from people trying to jump the wall or the fence itself. It's understandable. Like I said, I support Border Patrol very much. I've been with the Southwest Border Task Force, appointed by Secretary Napolitano in security and border trade. But I myself, I have concerns. You know, I think, I don't know, somebody at night that was to jump the fence, not knowing that on the other side of the fence, 10 feet high, is waiting for the razor wire. I don't know what conditions we would find a person in. Is it better for that person to break an ankle, or is it better for that person to be tangled in that wire? So I just wanted to bring it to you to let you know. We actually can't make a decision here or anything. I just need everybody to know that that's the work that's being done by Border Patrol. I don't know the exact date, but it looks like it is going to happen. Mr. Kissinger, by the looks of it, it's going to happen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're going to be seeing this, and you're going to be confronted probably by the citizens of Nogales and other people that they're not comfortable with this, because everybody, I've talked to a couple of people. I talked to Presidente Guzman from Nogales, Sonora. He wasn't very happy about it, and there's several people that are not very happy about it. It's not gonna be a very good image building for us. You know, so, Vice Mayor, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, have they done this or are using this in other cities?
I believe they've done it in the San Diego area, and they believe it's working, it's successful. I don't know if there's any record of anybody being tangled in the razor wire, but that's what, from what I understand, they did it in the San Diego area. Yes.
Do they have the same type of fencing that we have here?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think San Diego has a fence, a road, and then another fence, a barrier in between. But I understand that's what I heard, that it was, I don't know exactly how long, but for what I understand, they're not gonna do it in the downtown area like by Di Cassini Port of Entry, the pedestrian. They're gonna do it up in the hills where they've had more traffic. You know, it's probably not gonna be that visible from us downtown or tourists downtown, but it's gonna be in on the Short area, Short Street, Summit area, and on the west side past Hereford area and all those areas up there. So it's planned for it. So. Yes, were you gonna say something?
Well, I don't know, to me it kind of gives me an image of Hitler coming back there.
Well, you know, it's kind of.
I think that's a little too strong, because
Yeah.
if somebody gets tangled up there, their eyes go, or
Well, yeah, you know,
jugular gets cut.
yeah, a lot of things could happen at night. If somebody was to tangle themselves, especially 10 feet high.
Is that just supposed to be a deterrent?
Well, I guess if you see it, it scares you as deterrent, but I mean, I would hate to have our fire department respond to somebody tangled in that, instead of responding to a broken ankle, somebody responding to somebody tangled 10 feet above.
It'd probably be better if they just had it on top or something.
But it's not gonna be on top.
Well, that's what I mean, it's worse to have it down and jump into it.
Yeah, because that's what you're gonna do. If you jumped on the top, well, on your way down, on the American side, you're gonna find yourself.
There's no way we can do anything about this stuff.
Well, we can talk to our Congress, we can talk to people and say that we're not comfortable. Of course we can, yes. And maybe, is it something that you think we should do as a council? Write some letters and stuff like that?
Is that in uniform and getting a resolution against it and send it to our Congress people?
Well, we could do that. We could do that, Mr. Machado?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Maybe we can prepare something from my office and we'll sign it all together and send it and see how far it goes. But I think this is action that they've already, I don't know, I think they're committed to. So, but you know, you know how hard we've worked, Mr. Diaz, you know, all of us, we want to improve our image in the city and to have a fence there. And you know, we should be friendly instead of you know, they're doing it for their, I hate to say that that's part of their immigration reform, but I mean, you know, they're trying to bring more border patrol to be part of securing the border and all that. And yes.
I had to step out just for a second, but has the thought of doing kind of an all-out blitz in terms of a press conference where you
I had plans of doing that.
On this designated date and time, you're gonna hold a press conference and you invite all the TV stations to come in and maybe you have that resolution in hand, you know,
Yeah.
where that's.
Well, I had plans of doing that, but since Mr. Paran mentioned the resolution, that's something that we can do, and we can all be there together. Yeah. That'd be good. And before going, say,
Mr. Mayor, can we
Sí, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Muchas gracias
Sí,
por estar
gracias.
aquí con nosotros. Muchas gracias.
Gracias a
Yes,
todos.
go ahead.
On this same issue, if they force it down our throats and go through, they do put it on. If we made a policy so they can pick up the tab and everybody gets served, if we're responsible for it,
I'm sure we can work on something like that, Mr. Machado. Can that be done, or?
Yeah, we can do it, but I don't know what that's right?
I don't know how to find them.
Adios. Muchas gracias.
They pick up the tab and
Yeah.
so it's not fair that we have to pick up, well, don't have to pick up the tab.
Yeah, because I know that when our ambulance respond, well, usually we get stuck with that. right now?
No?
No?
No.
Are we getting paid for it?
Well, there's been disagreements and stuff like that, but we can ensure that when something like that happens, that it's their responsibility. Not their responsibility. But we've had disagreements about that in the past, but yeah, we can instruct our staff and our personnel that they of course treat a person, but we don't take back the bill that's their cost. You know, and we've had disagreements with them in the past, but that's what we've been trying to work out.
So, yes,
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Machado, right now, if somebody jumps and breaks her ankle, and obviously the ambulance goes over, takes them to emergency, who pays?
The Fed should pay it. That's a 60-foot federal property.
So they should pay it, or they are paying?
They should pay it.
Are we
And
billing-
they
are
are
we billing
paying it. There has been occasions when there has been disagreements about who pays. And they have tried to shift that blame, the responsibility to the city or the fire department and so on. But by and large, that has not been successful, but we've had to push back.
Thank you.
So, what we'll do then is, we'll go with the resolution, Mr. Dilly and Mr. Machado. And then, we'll take care of that, and then, we'll bring it back, and then we'll sit down and discuss, and we'll do a press conference on it. Members of council?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 7, consent agenda, A and B. And let me see. And C, A, B, and C. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. I have, the motion is by me. All I need is one motion. And, Mr., before we pass this, Mr. Handesian, Vice Mayor, you said that you wanted to, every time you mentioned to me that when we had a liquor license for approval, you wanted to see if the person was present.
Yes, I think
Yes,
problems have
yeah,
arisen.
so that we won't have this, and I have talked to the clerk about this, and yes, we do have people that here that are representing the liquor license for our youth baseball. And they're present, they were with me yesterday in my office. Is there any need for them to talk, or?
Who's there?
Yes, go ahead.
They've already.
Yeah, we already voted.
okayed it.
Yeah.
They've already.
Yeah.
No problem, I think it's just we needed to see a
Just
face,
a
to
face,
put it
that's all.
with who was gonna be using the liquor license, because problems have arisen.
Yeah.
Right. I must say that, we will be operating it
You
for the
have-
ball games.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, that's all right, that's all right. We've already, we've already gone through, we've already passed it.
All right, great.
Yeah, we passed it, but what it is that, Mr. Vice Mayor, he was with me in my office and we talked, it's about the baseball, they're gonna have the youth program and stuff, right, so.
Thank you for coming.
I just asked him yesterday to just have his face here, so, just in case. But I wanna thank you very much.
My pleasure.
For being here with us. So, we're gonna go to orders now, so, yeah, it's done, you guys are done.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stick
I have a
around.
ball game, so I have to go.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
looking forward to it. This is gonna be a great event.
Thank you very
All right,
much,
see you there.
thank you very much. Okay, item number 8, orders, consideration possible action of order. Okay, order 2013-07-070. Hello?
We have a discussion first, I think maybe we have discussion first.
No, well, let's have a motion. No, well.
I'll make the motion second for discussion.
Yes, okay.
I'll make a motion.
Well, okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, okay, discussion. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, I guess, Mr.
Mr.
Dillon?
Dilly?
Just real quick,
Not
a
quick.
few months ago, a few months ago, the EBT board was presented with looking forward what the premiums are going to need to be in order for the trust to balance out and stay in a position where it has the appropriate number of reserves in place. every municipality across the state at least is faced with ongoing increased healthcare costs and premiums. This year seems to be no different. I am pleased to report that the industry standard was up closer to about 11%, and we haven't had to do any kind of plan adjustments in order to minimize those increases. Based off of our history, our premiums were only at 5%. The board, looking at that, accepted those new rates as being appropriate, and is forwarded a recommendation to the city council for those rate adjustments to be shouldered and burdened by the city itself and not passed on to the employees. The city in the past has done this. This isn't a new precedent. There have been times when the council has elected to shoulder that 100%. There have been times when they've asked the employees to shoulder that 100%. This year, the EBT board is recommending to the council your consideration on the city shouldering that this upcoming year. It is, as depicted, an increase of, let's see here, $250,000, roughly $259. And I can tell you that in anticipation of this event and this coming forward for your consideration, it was programmed in the budget. So it's really not a budget consideration. Should the council elect not to shoulder that and ask the employees to shoulder that, that would be that much money freed up in your budget. You would have the discretion of doing something else with it. But as we went through the discussions and the study sessions with the council on the budget, we identified to the council on a couple of different occasions that this 5% was coming forward, and it was already programmed in the budget, assuming that you would move forward as you have in the past with the city shouldering that burden. I'd be happy to answer any questions. HR is here as well, that can answer any specific questions you might have.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Again, I haven't seen any of the financials, but how big of a reserve do we have? I mean, there's obviously a reserve. I mean,
There is a reserve. Summit recommends, being the administrator of the trust, Summit recommends that you have 6 months reserve. Is that 6 months, right? And we're at 6-7 months, something along those lines.
Money-wise, what does that mean? I mean, do we have $5 million in reserve, $2 million in reserve? I mean, how big is the reserve?
$3 million in reserve.
$3 million change.
3,670,000.
Yeah.
That's a reserve?
They recommend a total funding of $3,670,812 for the fiscal year.
That's the cost, yeah,
That's not
the
reserve
actual,
though.
no, that's actually the total expense.
The question is, what is the reserve amount?
$3
million.
Well, then that's a lot more than 6 months worth of expense. If the total if the total budget is $3 million.
10 months, yeah. Now, is a question, where is the reserve held?
There's a separate bank account for that.
I think you went to Wells Fargo. Was it?
Yeah.
No, some Wells Fargo.
Good evening, Elba Rio Chavez, HR Director. It is in a Wells Fargo account, and that's administered by our third-party administrator, which is Summit.
Well, Summit actually administers the reserve?
Well, because they administer the whole employee benefit plan. They're our third-party administrators, so.
Again, they have the reserve money?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's in the bank.
It's in the bank, I understand that, but I mean, the reserve money then is actually in Summit's name instead of the city of Nogales?
No, it's the city of
It's in the name of
Nogales.
the trust, Vice Mayor.
It's in the trust?
Trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you say Summit administers it, then they decide where it's gonna be put, is that what you're saying? They make the decision, or the board makes the decision where?
Well, the
the
board,
money's gonna be
everything is, yes, exactly. So there's a third-party administration, everything is brought in front of the board, for decisions and all that, where the money's gonna be spent, so it comes to the board.
Again, Mr. Dilly, I don't know if I've ever seen any financials on the trust. I mean, is the trust open to the public? I would assume.
Yes. It receives an independent audit as well. It receives an independent annual audit as well, and those records and information is available to you.
Have we ever been given that information?
No, Vice Mayor, but I can get it for you.
Yes.
I'm one of the trustees.
Yes, please get it for me. I'd like to see it.
I can get it for you. I recommend that we do this, 5%, and, you know, like Mr. Dilly was saying, you know, and the thing is, I think we used to have it at, if I'm not mistaken, Bank of America, and then we changed to Wells Fargo, right? At the last meeting, when the decision was made, I was out of town. But before that, I knew what the recommendation of the trustees and the board was that, to do this, and I knew you were gonna come up with that, and you know, I forgot to tell Letty to give me the Snickers that I needed for this moment.
I forgot to bring them too.
You know,
But my suggestion would have been, if we had a $6 million reserve, which I don't know if it's three. I really don't know if it's three. I think it's more than three. But anyway, my suggestion would have been, if at all possible, the trust could absorb the deal, not the city itself.
But if I'm not
The trust could
mistaken,
absorb it.
it's around 3. We'll look into it and we'll bring it back.
Yes, I haven't seen it, but I think it's more than three. But anyway, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any more, anybody else? No?
Nope.
Well, should we take a vote on this? Good. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, it's an aye for every unanimous. That's what I like.
Do we vote?
Yes.
Another meeting.
He was in another meeting. Oh, boy.
Just in case I voted yes.
Yes, thank you. All right. Number 2, consideration and possible action of order 2013-07-071.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I already talked with our attorney, Joe Machado. He said I could vote on it, but I'm gonna abstain because I am.
Yes, it's part of, I understand that's where the tower is at. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Okay, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Consideration, item number 3, consideration possible action of order 2013-07-072.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second. For discussion, second.
Discussion, yes.
You know, this has been going back and forth.
But this is gonna be the final one.
Okay, I think, really, I think it's an administrative call, because we're going back and forth, and I know there's common sense, if you see a light going into the private property, you're not gonna put that one on.
Yes.
And if you see 2 lights on one pole, take one out, because you don't need 2 lights on one
Yes,
pole. So that's only common sense, you gotta do that.
I know,
And the rest,
but it looks like the common sense is not working. We're gonna have to give direction, Mr. Para. But this is the thing, it's because there's been different dialogue and different things, and we looked at the minutes of the past meetings and the tapes, and yes, we've talked about turning all the lights out. Then there was a number thrown in of 89 some lights, and then there was another number thrown in. So the Vice Mayor's recommendation of saying the lights that we haven't turned on, and the lights that are there that we turned off, turn them back on unless they're facing into private property, or you have 2 on one pole. You put the one that's facing to the public side, and if there's lights out there, for instance, that should have been turned on, and Unisource is not doing their job, let's get Unisource to do their job and put those sensors up and take the lights off. So the whole purpose of this motion is to turn the lights back on and once and for all, and not bring it back to city council.
We don't need a staff number. I think it's again, I repeat it, turn all the lights on, except obviously, as we've discussed, those that are looking on.
I appreciate the clarification on that.
Also, I had one lady tell me that when all this started, she went ahead and signed up and is paying for it. Okay, now this was several months back, so I don't know, because I told her go ahead and cancel it, right? but if there's anybody out there that's actually paying for a pole that is lighting an actual city street, that should be taken over
Vice
by the
Mayor, I
city.
think what we need to do on that, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, we need to find out what contract they did with Unisource and let that contract expire before it comes back to ours. So, because our contract is a 5-year plan. I don't know if my.
It's probably a 5-year.
There's just a 5-year still.
I'm not saying it is, I'm saying that.
So what we need to do is maybe find out what they did and how many of those lights were turned on and see if there's something there that maybe we could deal with Unisource or something, and then take it on, because it's not gonna be right, I know. It's not gonna be right that they're paying for lighting city, you know? And I think that the time when that decision was made, which I opposed 100%, that we shouldn't allow citizens to pay for the lighting the streets for somebody else. We should never have done that. Those people just jumped the gun because they felt that it was very dark in their street. We should look and see if Unisource can, Mr. Dilly, you,
We'd be happy to follow up with
yeah, follow Unisource and see what kind of contact, see what we can do. Because they've already been paying for it for about a year or more, or two.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that they would be paying, they consciously went to Unisource to turn the light on for themselves.
But if that light is facing their property, it's understandable, let them pay for it.
Even if it wasn't, they made the decision to go and pay because they wanted that light on for themselves.
Yeah.
So.
But it's lighting public streets.
What? Well, we didn't force anybody to go
Yes.
and do it as a
No,
city.
I understand.
They went
I
and
understand.
did it because they wanted light on in front of their house.
No, I understand, but every time somebody would call, that's what we recommended to the people
If
from
they
the
wanted
city.
it on, sure.
If they wanted it on, we recommended, well, you pay for it. And that's.
We'll have Mr. Dilly pay for it.
We'll-
Not that automatic.
We'll go down to the local Unisource office.
Good one.
We'll get it done right
See if it's
away.
open. Good one. Well, so, okay, so we're gonna vote on this, and like Mr. Kissinger, do you have some, don't come up with a number, please.
No numbers?
No, unless it's a telephone number for Unisource.
Don't mix things up.
No, you ask
Yeah,
that.
because you're gonna be asking me to do something, I just wanna know what I'm gonna do.
Okay, Mr. Vice Mayor, say it again.
Can I repeat it again?
Yes,
Mr.
repeat it
Dilly,
again.
Could you tell them what the?
I'd be happy to repeat.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
And the repeat is this, that all the lights that we had previously turned off that are facing public right of way get turned back on.
There you go.
Except for those lights that would have two to a pole.
Yes.
Because all the other lights would be facing private property, and those lights are to stay off.
Yes.
Well, even though you could use your own judgment, I mean, there's some streets that here, lights that I've seen that have 2 lights on them, and they're there for a reason, right?
Okay,
They're
well,
not,
if
they're not,
if
they're
we're
not
gonna be
illogical for, so.
It's already been said, listen, it's already been said that there's no confidence in staff's judgment on this stuff. So if you have specific lights, I mean, I'd be happy to go with you light by light, Vice Mayor. And we'll turn on, we'll green tag one and we'll red tag another.
No.
Then go ahead, but do it on the weekend.
If this is where we're gonna go, then let's do it. But you know, if the light is facing right away,
It's to be turned on.
it's to be turned on.
Right.
Unless it's got 2 on that pole, one of them's gonna stay off.
You know, he's right, this is the reason, because look, I look at it this way, if there's 2 on the pole, I can bet you one of them is a political light.
Right.
It was a political favor for somebody to put 2 lights on the pole. You need just 1 light. Because if you look at our codes, when it comes to lights, the electricians in the city can tell you that. The lights have the beam. Every beam has to intersect with each other while they're walking on the sidewalk. So if you have a light like this with a beam, the next pole shoots the beam, so you're never walking in a dark spot. That's what it is, and I know that for a fact. If you have 2 on one pole, I think it's exaggeration.
Right.
One of them was political. Mr. Dilly, you're right.
Thank you.
You were right on that one.
But I could see one and I will be back.
But no, let's do that, okay? Mr. Kissinger, did you get it?
before we vote on
Yes,
this.
sir, we'll go ahead and turn on all lights except the lights that are illuminating private property, and we will not be turning on the lights that are two to a pole.
One light from two. If you have two, turn one on.
The ones that we have identified here are the lights that we turned off when there were two lights to a pole.
Okay.
So we only turned off one of the two lights.
Okay, all right, so that's
So
it.
those lights,
Stay
my
on.
understanding,
One-
stayed off.
One stays on, the other one stays off. All
And
right.
if both are off, one will be turned off.
Who's the third?
All right, thank you very much, okay. So we got it?
We got it.
All right,
I hope
there's a
we got it.
motion there? All right. Mr. Machado, we're okay? Take a vote? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. This will never come up again.
No.
All right,
Let's hope not.
this will never come up. And if it comes up, it's because Mr. Bárcenas wants it up. Ves contas, Bárcenas, ya te estoy viendo. Okay. Okay, item number 4, consideration possible action on order 2013-07-073. Okay, is there a motion? We will.
I would just like discussion first.
Yeah, okay, let's go, one discussion first, all right. We'll,
I'm
Olivia?
happy to open it up if you'd like.
Yes, no, will you come to the podium? No, Olivia too. Yes. Por favor. No.
Good evening.
Okay, preséntate primero.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Inza. Acting Executive Director for the Nogales Chamber of Commerce.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Jelly, now you open it up.
Oh, okay. So during the budget process, staff was directed to engage the Chamber of Commerce to put forward a couple of points to the contract. It was discussed at one of the study sessions that there was a concern about the city's contribution and its money going towards the creation and distribution of promotional brochures and material. And so that was one point. The other point was in regards to the name of the Chamber of Commerce and looking at other chambers in the county, whether you're talking about the Rio Rico or the Tubac or this, the Patagonia, they all seem to reflect the community. And the Chamber of Commerce here in Nogales is named the Greater Santa Cruz, Nogales. Anyway, in reference to a much bigger area than just the city of Nogales or Nogales, Arizona proper. I was able to meet with Olivia and others with the chamber. Councilman Parada was there as well. We talked and engaged on those various points. Before you is a revised agreement, an annual contract with the chamber that places more emphasis on the city's contribution going towards the development and the distribution of promotional material, respecting that the chamber's role in the community is perfectly suited to be able to do that and fulfill that role. What the contract does not reflect is the concern that was expressed by council regarding the name of the chamber. We did have a dialogue about that particular concern. The chamber, I'm not going to speak for Olivia. She can do that. But the chamber feels that there's good reason for the name being what it is, and I just encouraged the chamber to articulate that with the council so that you could at least hear the chamber's point of view on that particular point, and whatever the council decides to do at that junction is obviously your call. So the contract as it states, as it is today, if I can refer you to the first section, it talks about the payments being quarterly. It's still the $18,500, which doesn't reflect the city's annual membership amount of that $6,500. That's something separate. it talks about the city paying this $18,500 on quarterly installments that would be that would be paid at the conclusion of the quarterly presentation from the Chamber of Commerce. It does state in paragraph 2 that the payments would be for the purpose of first 50%, a minimum of 50%, which is a change in the contract. Minimum of 50% of that contribution would go towards the design, development, and distribution of the promotional materials. And the chamber would talk to the council about those things. And then it does allow for some of that money as well to go towards wages and staff, the payment of staff. We acknowledged the year before that there was going to need to be some seed money to help the chamber in moving the visitor center in kind of a different direction. This continues that, but puts more emphasis on the promotion material and less emphasis on that visitor center, with the understanding that the visitor center is hopefully getting some momentum and being able to be a little more self-sufficient and self-reliant. That's really the focus of the changes in the contract. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I know that Olivia and the chamber is here and prepared to give you a presentation, maybe looking forward and as well as maybe the last quarterly report.
Thank you for that. I would like to also introduce some of our board members that are here. And we want to first thank you for the opportunity that you gave us as a city of Nogales. We need to start looking into promoting and inviting the tourism and visitor to come here. I would like to, if you allow me, to introduce some of our board members, and also if you can give us, like I asked Mary yesterday, to see if we could get at least 5 minutes of the presentation. According to the contract, we went ahead and prepared the presentation of what we have for the brochure, as well as the branding of the city of Nogales. Todd from Tintas, he's also a board member of the chamber. Suzette Moreno, Suzette Jewelry. Patricia Lopez from sorry. Arnold, chairman of the board. Javier del Cid, also Tintas, and Jorge Leon, which are board members. Some of the board members, the other ones they couldn't attend. At this point, I would like to ask our chairman of the board to come and introduce himself and also give you a little bit of brief description of what we're doing as a chamber. Okay, Mr. Arnold Kigal.
Go ahead. Mr. Mayor, City Council, as Arnold's coming up to present, the only adjustment that was requested after the review of this contract by the chamber was down below on the signature line. It wouldn't be Olivia that would be signing this. It would be Arnold as the chairman of the board. That would be the only adjustment.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Council, and public in general. Thank you for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here. As Olivia just mentioned briefly right now, we're trying to work together with the city. No being divided, but to come together as a partnership. I see this contract or this agreement more as a partnership than anything else. Today we have the pleasure to have among us Ms. Hayes, correct? Hayes. Ms. Alegria Hayes from Angel Fire Media. And she's the one that is being kind enough to put together a presentation for you guys today. So please allow her to be.
Thank you very much.
State your name and your address, please, for the record.
My name is Alegria Quintana Hayes. I live in 28 Old Highway Lane, Sonorita, Arizona.
Where do you live?
Sonorita, Arizona. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. My company is Angels Fire Media. I met with the chamber in order to work branding identity for the city of Nogales. I will give you a little bit of background of where I come from. I was born in South America. I grew up in Washington, D.C. My background is as a brand designer. I work for companies in the 500, like PwC. I work with the government, the White House, NASA. I also work with May Company Retail. I worked in New York. And I'm happy to be here in Sonora now. So I talked to Olivia and she asked me to take a look at what was going on with Nogales and give my professional opinion. So I know it's late, so I'm going to try to move as fast as I can. In order for me to brand, I had to look at the history of Nogales. And as the mayor talks about, Nogales is a border, and it's the border of Mexico, and it's an international town. One that is very famous for bringing $26 million in agricultural produce and manufactured goods into Arizona. And it was also part of the border of Mexico at one time, was part of Heroica. So it's a town that was divided into, and I know you guys know this, but it was for my own background. It started with Juan Bautista, the Anza expedition in 1775 and 1776, and it was part of New Spain. And you can actually see that because it's part of the records in the courthouse in the second floor. Nogales is actually the county seat of Santa Cruz County, and that is actually pretty important in this area. In 1841, the Mexican government gave the Elias family to establish Nogales, and Nogales means nueces, or walnut trees, and that's actually what it was established then. And the United States bought it in 1853, and it became part of the United States. And in 1880, a Russian immigrant, Jacob Isaacson, made it into a trading post. And since then, it's been a trading post, which is kind of very interesting. And the U.S. Postal Service named it Nogales in 1883. On August 27, 1918, there was a battle, and it was a horrible battle that everybody probably remembers. And since then, there's been a lot of trouble. I know you guys know that, and I'm just going through it because it is important, and you will see why. The scenic attractions, there's 200 attractions listed: the Tumaca Carry, the Tupac Presidio, the old Tupac Schoolhouse, the Nogales City Hall, and the Patagonia Railroad Teapot. The Patagonia, I'm sorry, I can hear you. There's a lot of mining camps, and there's a lot of things to see in Nogales. Nogales is actually pretty beautiful in my mind. Downtown Nogales is really rich in history and architecture, and this is where my point comes through, that there's a lot of history in this town. There's streets, and there's streets covered with history. For example, the Morley Street and the Court Streets. And just because we're part of the borders, we don't see it. I've come to Nogales many times, and one time I got lost, and I was looking at the post office, and I found this beautiful street with all these old buildings, and I have never seen anything like it. And coming from Washington, it never occurred to me even to look at it. There was no sign anywhere that pointed me to that direction. It was so hidden that for me it was like I found a treasure. It was like I was in a treasure hunt. So there are a lot of interesting architecture and historical homes around that area where the courts and the old buildings are. And then I'm going to talk about the Arizona and Sonora Desert Heritage Act that was just introduced by Grijalva. And this is important for Nogales because it makes the Santa Cruz Valley, which is a huge area that goes all the way from Nogales, all the way to Tucson, to Phoenix. That is called the Santa Cruz Valley, and that whole area is being described as a National Heritage Area. And it's described by the National Park Service as where natural, cultural, historic, and recreational resources are combined to form a cohesive, nationally distinctive landscapes arising from patterns of past and present human activities shaped by geography. So what are the benefits? The Santa Cruz Valley Heritage Alliance expresses as well. Benefits being designated as a National Heritage Area includes both economic and non-economical benefits. That means that tax deductions and grants and all kinds of goodies and benefits are being part of this alliance and this Heritage Act. So it is important for you, and I'm sure the mayor is aware of this act and all the benefits that comes with this initiative. The proposed Santa Cruz Valley National Heritage Areas will provide a framework for heritage-based economic development, including tourism-related increase in local jobs, business incomes, and tax revenues. The non-economic benefits of the proposed Santa Cruz Valley National Heritage Areas includes the promotion of local foods, craft, and other traditional products. And the National Heritage Areas designation also supports an improved quality of life for residents through preservations of the places, landscapes, and traditions that make these regions unique. Nogales and Santa Cruz County are rich in history, culture, and diversity. Prehistoric Hohokam people, Spanish explorers, U.S. Army expeditions, hard-riding cowboys, ranchers, and hand rock miners are part of this area. So I think Nogales is prime candidate for this proposed Santa Cruz Valley National Heritage Area initiative. This is a map that actually describes what I'm talking about. And you can see that it goes all the way from Nogales all the way to Marana. And it's 3,325 square miles. Gateway to the Sonoran Desert. As a brander, we always look for some sort of wrap around a concept. And for me, the concept of Nogales is the gateway to the Sonoran Desert. And the reason is because you are right in the center of what the Sonoran Desert is. And I will show you further down the picture of the Sonoran Desert. Well, I can show you later. But basically the concept would be that you are the gateway to this huge heritage that is part of history and that it opens all the way the door to the United States and all this heritage. And it also includes taking care of the wildlife and all the 300 species that are part of the Sonoran Desert. Branding cities. So I come from New York, and I was in New York for 5 years as a brander. I worked with huge companies, and the history of New York is a very interesting history because New York City was a very crime-ridden city. New York was in ruins, and somebody had the idea of I Love New York campaign. And a mayor like you, Mayor, came aboard and they decided to put this campaign together saying, I love New York, and New York City changed. And it was not just because somebody wrote, I love New York. It was because New York came together and put all their differences apart and became one. And that's what I love New York meant to New Yorkers, and I was part of that. So I'm going to describe what is a brand. A brand is a customer experience represented by a collection of images, ideas, names, logo, slogans, or design style. What is it important? It affects the recognition of the product or services and therefore the ability to perform in a competitive market. In the case of cities, cities compete for tourism residents in order to increase their popularity as well as visitors. We have that documented of New York. I love New York. So we need a brand for Nogales that will change the state of Nogales, and I'm going to propose one. Avoiding the negative issues. Branding the city of Nogales can be a challenge because it's a border town. The recent years and the challenge and policies make it very difficult, of course. You have immigration policies that it's very difficult. Borders are always going to be borders, and every border city has the same problems that you do. So instead of making it a problem, you have to make it a strength. Reviewing the history and the present environment, we came to the conclusion that the best approach to build a brand around the Arizonas is to wrap it around the Arizona Sonora and Desert Heritage Act of 2013. Even if the initiative doesn't pass, the whole environment points in that direction as a successful venue. The branding should include historical heritage preservation, environmental preservation, integration and vision for the future of the city, a modern Nogales that preserves and capitalizes on its roots and heritage. Gateway to Sonora Desert Heritage. A gateway is a door, a portal that embodies a sense of adventures. We want to offer tourists an adventure to the past in a modern setting, a place where they can explore our Sonoran Desert heritage in all aspects. Nogales reveals a vivid human record in the Sonoran Desert, prehistoric Hohokam people, Spanish explorers, and you have all those history, the cowboys, the ranchers, the miners. And then you also have efforts underway to create tours around downtown. I'm aware of that. And then you need to bring the walnut trees back to the walkways and the main streets. I imagine that the brand needs to integrate part of the pride of the history of the city. And there is a picture of the Sonoran Desert and a picture of the walnut trees. And that's part of the brand. Our mission was to create a logo for Nogales that integrate the image of a modern commerce in a successful city in a rich cultural heritage that can attract tourists and revive the sense of pride in the community. The vision was to revive Nogales where Sonoran Desert heritage plays a big role in the economic development of the community as it preserves wildlife and empowers small businesses. Nogales. It's only fitting that a place called Nogales Walnuts has those elements incorporated in the brand. So how many times have you been asked, what does Nogales mean? It should be in the elements in the logo. So we actually put walnuts in the logo. The eye sees the image and the mind reads the word, and somehow the message gets through, the magic of visual communication. Our logo contains the words Nogales and Arizona. It establishes a sense of place, so there is no confusion. We also have our concept, Gateway to the Sonoran Desert Heritage. This slogan places Nogales as the gateway to the Sonoran Desert Heritage, and it's fitting since the Sonoran Desert extends from Mexico and Baja California to Arizona, making Nogales the portal to this magnificent area. And there is the logo, Arizona, the gateway to Sonoran Desert Heritage. In the drawing, you can see a white circle, which is a gateway, an opening or a portal, surrounded by the subliminal colors of both countries' flags. What do they have in common? The color white and the circle, which is the gateway or the portal. The circle is a symbol of completion, which means it has no beginning and no end. Additionally, this circle is a symbol of unity and strength. The circle represents Nogales as the gateway. And the yellow, it means happiness in color. The colors used in this logo are blue, red, green, yellow, and North American mainstream culture. The following colors are associated with certain qualities. Yellow is warm, sunrise, cheers, happiness. Blue, trust, reliability, belonging, coolness. Green, nature, fresh. red adventure. So these colors have upbeat look and feel and yet target our specific audience, which are tourists in search of adventure, love of history, love of the West, and interest in the large diverse groups of species of the Sonoran Desert has to offer. We have a branch for a walnut tree with walnut fruits near the word Nogales, Arizona, and it's subliminal enough to make the connection for people to remember once they have seen the graphic. The logo gives us the first step to brand Nogales. When we pair the logo with images of specific locations, then we target specific audiences. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Salsa Trail, but they did a whole branding and a whole book on the Salsa Trail where they target specific restaurants who go in search of the Salsa Trail. We can do something like this with this logo and kind of send the traffic to different areas of Nogales with different trails. And I use some of the images from the City of Nogales website so I can pair it with the logo so you can see how beautiful it looks. And that would be one for downtown and the other one for the tourist center. The implementation that I would see would be in visual collateral in forms of posters, postcards, brochures, maps, ads, press releases in order to distribute to the different targets, and also including social media. There is an initiative already that has been, that already started with our social media for the City of Nogales, and it's already in, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks, they already had 1,190 hits. So it's pretty good. The social media, the blogs and the web should be integrated, and also a quarterly newsletter, sent all over for all the different targets, like for example, hotels and Tucson airports and all the different chamber areas. And that's it. Thank you for your time, and I hope you like it.
Thank you very much. The presentation was very nice.
If you have any questions, I'm sorry it's so late and I came when you guys were tired. And I apologize if this was a long, but for me, I needed to look at the background in order to be able to build something. And I know you lost your cool over there for a couple seconds.
I will say this, no, I will say this. I was kind of bored of the whole deal, but I do love your presentation there. Not the presentation of the history of Nogales, because we've gone through that one.
Right.
But they're showing Nogales as something fresh and something new that has hit Nogales. I still don't appreciate the deal of Nogales being, or the chamber being everything to everybody. I mean, and I understand, I look at the brochures from Tubac, they never mention Nogales, it's only mentioned Tubac, right?
Right.
I've seen the brochures on the wineries in Sonora. Has it ever been mentioned, any of the wineries ever mentioned Nogales? So I'm not fighting with it, all I'm telling you, and this is very nice. I really compliment you on the whole thing. It's something fresh, something very different. No one has brought this up. It's fresh. I mean, it's something that does clean it up. Again, I'm sitting here in the city of Nogales. All right. I'm trying to promote Nogales. Nogales is my main thought. I understand the Santa Cruz Valley. I love the Santa Cruz Valley, right? And it's intermingled together. But we have to sit somewhere, and I want to sit in Nogales, right? And I'm not a supervisor. I'm not from Sonora, and I love Sonora. I love the wineries. I love the whole deal. But again, this is very fresh and very nice. I will compliment you on that. I really will.
Yeah, well, let me tell you one thing. I like it too. The word gateway is very important to Nogales. It's going to be a little while before somebody catches where it says gateway to Sonora, not Arizona, Sonora, because the whole heritage is a big chunk of land in the state of Arizona, like you said, Casa Grande and all that, But the big words of Nogales and the nueces and everything, I think it's very nice. I think you came up with a good slogan and a good brand.
The way that I was trying to integrate it was the more that we try to separate where we are, like who we are, the more it becomes very complicated because of the history of the place. When we have an area that has so many things in common, so much heritage in common, it's so important to heal all the bad things that happened in the past and put them together in something that we're all proud of. And so a gateway of that heritage is so important for all of us, instead of having, you know, the differences between the borders. You know, a colibri, for example, or a hummingbird, doesn't have any borders and travels all the way through the desert, through the Sonora Desert, and feeds everywhere. And it's beautiful.
You know, it's the same way, and when you were talking about it and what you just said is same way. 2 times that I was invited to Washington to speak in reference to the border with Homeland Security. I didn't speak only about Nogales. I spoke about Douglas, San Luis, Naco, Brookville. Why? Because we are the desert, and I was the only one representing the state of Arizona. So if I'm going to be over there, I need to talk about the border region, because the border region was the region that was being attacked, and that culture of fear because of the border and because of all the issues that people decided to run their political campaigns with. And I had to do that for the whole region. And some people would look at me and say, you know, why are you talking about Douglas and San Luis? I have to. That's right. Because we are the border to Mexico. Mexico is a trade, there's a binational relations. So talking about a gateway and talking, you know, just with the word Nogales, Arizona, that big, that's going to tell you what we're talking about. But the gateway to the Sonoran Desert Heritage, it's good. Yeah, you know, I'm going to give you all the credit in the world. Honestly, I love it. I love it, and I think it's great. It's a very good brand.
And now, if you could, Mr. Mayor,
yes,
if you could tell us how, you know, my whole question here is, if you go to Phoenix, you go to Tucson, you go to any of the hotels, you go anywhere, there's not one brochure about Nogales. You go to the airport, there's nothing there. You go to Hermosillo, there's nothing there that mentions Nogales. Again, this is very nice. My question is, with the $18,500 and with your logo here, how is that going to promote Nogales? How are we going to be able to get the tourists from the United States and the tourists from Mexico down here? Because that's what it would cost. $18,500 is what it would cost to get the little flyer, or the typical little deal from every city that's got one, including Tombstone, including Benson, including they've got it all over the state of Arizona, except for Nogales, and the other one's Douglas. Neither one of us have any.
Vice Mayor.
He would address that.
Vice Mayor, Tombstone, a town that never dies. Come on.
He would get
Hey, and everybody knows that. And hard to kill. You know, town hard to kill. They go on.
How about Bisbee?
They go on shootings.
How about Bisbee?
Bisbee, they got the biggest hole in the world. Okay. They do well. They do well. But if you know, that gateway. I'm an artist. I'm an artist. Okay. I love it. I think so. And I think the message with the brochure, the information of Nogales. You mentioned history. You mentioned locations. I've always said that it's pretty tough to sell Nogales without selling Nogales, Sonora.
Thank you.
We have to sell Nogales, Sonora, because it's always been that way. All the Americans go to Sonora. It's a balance of tourism. And the balance of tourism is that Nogales, Sonora lost it all, and we have not lost it because we still have the people coming and shopping here. We need to bring that balance and that scale and even it out.
Absolutely.
And I think Gateway will do that. Everybody knows that Sonoran Desert, with the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum, they know that it goes all the way to San Carlos and all those areas, Puerto Peñasco. I love to see that channel and Channel 6. I always watch it and I enjoy it. I think that'll pick that up, that the desert will pick that up. The word heritage, we're going to give Mr. Grijalva a lot of credit with that, but heritage is a strong word.
You have used it a lot yourself.
Yeah,
I know that.
So I love it. I love it. If you can come up with that and like Mr. Hanesian said, and that cause, and we can start promoting Nogales and throw the name Nogales a lot in the information inside, Nogales, Arizona, and always don't lose the fact of the gateway, because we were called the gateway to Mexico. We are the model port of the state of Arizona.
That's right.
Those were the words of Governor Napolitano at one time. So, you know, we have a lot of branding to do, but that is very creative.
Very nice.
I love it. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Mayor,
Yes.
excuse me, I'm just gonna go ahead and add something to this, but we started about 6 months ago working on this, okay? But we wanted to present something that could be something to impact tourism, to always remember. And I remember when the CEO of Bank of America told me, you know what? You always have to have a logo. You always have to have an image that always remembers your name, and that's true. Look at Target, look at Walmart, all of them. So a logo like this, I think anybody that would see right away, they would identify the community in Nogales. Now, to respond to Mr. Hanesian, 3 weeks ago, we put we opened a Facebook page just to try to see how it was going to be the perception and the acceptance of the public. And see if they like it. We didn't use this, we didn't disclose, we didn't do nothing. Just open the Facebook and it says Nogales, Santa Cruz County, and it's on the page, Facebook. So far, and I even have a copy of that. I took a copy of that. As of this afternoon when we left the office, we already have 1,200 likes in that page. Just because we're putting pictures, information, history, events, etc. So that means that, and this is not only people from Nogales, we have international visitors that they like the Facebook page. So just imagine adding something like this. Not only that, we have to start somewhere. I've been going to meetings for over 8 years, listening to the same thing, and nothing gets done. So we said, you know what, it's time for us to start working on something and not just talk and make it something happen. So with that, I would like to say, yes, Mr. Hanesian, we will go ahead and use part of that funding to go ahead and start something with a brochure, something that can put us on the map, and you're right, an airport. But we have to remember, not only is going to be the distribution, and it's very expensive, okay? So we're gonna have to be very creative, like we did with this, okay? And start using the logo. And this is not the chamber logo, this is the City of Nogales logo, the community. And we have to take pride of what we're doing and representing. This is a gorgeous community and we're just letting it go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I had a question there.
Yes, go ahead.
But you guys aren't planning to change the name, are you, from Nogales, Santa Cruz, Chamber of Commerce? Because Santa Cruz, I take pride that we're the county seat, you know. Nogales is a county seat, and we're enriched with the surrounding community by it.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't like to leave it out.
Yeah, and I just want to refresh again, you know, and I agree with Mr. Hanesian, the Vice Mayor. We don't want to deviate, you know, from what our job is. We don't want to be here, you know, for you guys to praise what we're doing or to praise what we're doing. Is that, you know, we got to work together. I had a meeting with Mr. Chain, deal about 2 months ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken. On that meeting, you know, we spoke about how hard it is to really market Nogales for the same reasons I just mentioned. It's a beautiful town. We got to take pride. But with that, it comes many things, you know, that we have that's very negative. You know, we got negative campaign everywhere, radio station, newspapers, you know, media, TV. So we gotta on these guys. You know, we gotta work together. You know, of course, you know, we gotta give the results. We gotta produce, you know, tangible results that you guys can see, verify, you know, and be documented. So we're here to work. I don't want to use that word, but it's transparency. I know that in the past was used here in the city of Nogales, you know, many times. You know, I'm gonna just reuse it again, and it's gonna be there. You know, it's for you to request those reports. You know, and they will be provided to you, you know, with the time that is needed. You know, we are gonna be holding meetings with Mr. Chain. You know, hopefully, you know, work together and be proactive. Obviously, in everything that you do, you know, there's gonna be disagreements. To agree, hopefully, you know, and come out with conclusions and solutions. You know, we're here to work, you know, to be responsible and kind of. So we thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Dillon.
I just wanted to remind the council, you know, in the budget itself for the non-departmental section, you earmark additional monies to go towards the promotion and whatever of the city of Nogales. So I mean, I just, you know, it's probably one step to allow the chamber to, you know, to exercise and do the job that the city council is asking them to do with the 18.5. But if there's something that comes forward your way, I just wanted you to know that there's that extra little bit of money that if there's a worthwhile venture that the council wants to kind of get behind, to, you know, to give it the extra push or whatever, that money is there for that purpose. So,
You know, I was thinking about that, Mr. Gilly, while the presentation was being done, because I know that marketing and branding is not, it has to start somewhere, but I know it's not something that's cheap, put it that way. So it's gonna,
I mean, if we're expecting to get it into, you know, every hotel, every airport, I mean, it's, you know, when I met with the chamber, we talked about, you know, logistically trying to get that done and really being realistic to ourselves. You know, maybe there's some baby step approaches that would have to happen if we're limited to the $18,500. You know, it really is something that needs to this dialogue between the chamber and the city has to continue on an ongoing basis so that we can make those kind of decisions and make that progress. The other thing is, I've seen it too often in other communities where we start talking about community logos and moving in a certain direction. I would encourage the council to take this, you know, beautiful, you know, presentation and allow it to kind of sink in and mull it over. You know, whenever you take a great idea and you start opening it up, sometimes that great idea even gets better. I think that, you know, when the dialogue continues to happen between the chamber and the city, eventually at some point you're going to say, hey, this is it, and maybe that's tonight. Maybe it's tonight. But when you're starting to talk about community logos and you don't allow it to vet a little bit in the public arena like this, you know, sometimes that comes around and bites us as public officials. So I would just encourage the city council to take this wonderful concept, wonderful idea, maybe ask you know, the chamber to come back and let's talk a little bit more about this. And if there's any other ideas, we have at it. And at least let it go through that kind of vetting process as a public. At the end of the day, I mean, I can't think of any way to really improve that. That was really something neat to watch. But
let's take a vote and let's get it over with, right?
If that's where you want to go with it,
I think we're ready.
You know, so be it. But I've seen it.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed that was missing from there is Mayor Garin.
Oh
no! No, you know what? Mayor, really, you know, yeah. No, wait a minute. Just Vice Mayor.
No,
but the Vice Mayor did he say something? No,
let's make the resolution here.
No. Wait a minute. This is the thing. I understand what you're saying, that you can come up with some good ideas and stuff, and I think to have them start with the money that we have, and for later on, you know, I'm sure that you can come back and do a presentation and see how we can help out. You know, because this is going to take a little bit, but honestly, I think there's some chosen words there that I think are really good. You know, the branches of the Nogales tree and all that in the background. There's key points, and I think the message on the brochure is the branding part, the logo. I think is not.
Mr. Mayor, I know the time is very short, but if you allow me, we're planning also to set up 2 billboards at the entry of Nogales, and obviously, you know, addressing the question of, you know, replacing or switching or changing the name of the Nogales Chamber. We're going to highlight Nogales. Nogales is going to be really bold. It's going to say Nogales and then Santa Cruz County, okay? Underneath. Chiquitico. Okay? So it's gonna, that can be done. It's going to be done. That shouldn't be, you know, if you allow me 2 minutes, I just want to bring here, if you don't mind, please, Alexis Kramer, Mrs. Alexis Kramer, Miss. I'm sorry, Miss. And I just,
please.
She's not okay. Yeah, she's available, but you gotta go to school. And the reason why I want to invite her is because we all believe, in our youth, right? In investment, having bright people here, and it's not because she happens to be related to Olivia. She's helping us right now, putting the social media. Can you please give me some?
Okay. Well, thank you for presenting me. My name is Alexis Kramer. I'm actually a student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. So everything that we're putting together, this has something that I do on a daily basis. So I helped launch this Facebook page, and the reason I brought it forward, I was like, Mom, it's the 21st century. I use Facebook on a daily basis. How do when I'm in Phoenix, when I'm in Tempe, Urban Spoon, I need to know restaurants, I need to know where to go eat. And I said, do this, start getting out there. We launched the page, and right now, if you go to it, we have international visitors all the way from Turkey, Istanbul, who are liking our pictures, and who would think that they would come here? And if you take a daily basis, I'm trilingual. I speak English, Spanish, and French, and hopefully in the future, possibly Portuguese, and that's the only place I get to practice my French. So there you go. That's just a perfect example of just bringing tourism in this area. And the Facebook page, I'm constantly updating it. We took advantage of Paul Bond. Did you happen to know that Willie Nelson has a picture of Paul Bond? I bet you didn't, because I didn't. Well, maybe you guys did, but as a youth, as a teenager, hopefully young adult now, I didn't know that. So a lot of people are now taking advantage of it. My friends are looking at it, friends from ASU, and are looking at this because it's important to start focusing on the positive issue. And as a journalism student, I don't want to be known as a border town that I'm constantly having to say it's safe. I crossed by myself. It's okay. So that's just some point of feedback that I guess I'd like to just elaborate on social media. So what we have right now, Facebook, Twitter, a Flickr page, which hosts all the photo streaming pictures around the area. We're working with local photographers to get their pictures out there. So not only does it help them out, but it makes us also look in a very artistic way, appreciate the photographic value. And then hopefully in the future, we'll also start getting on Pinterest, Instagram, hashtag. I know these terms probably are not so, I guess, on a daily basis, but once you start learning it, it starts clicking and people start seeing it. And it's a perfect investment. I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, members of the council, you know that we're approving the contract on this, all right?
We're still in discussion,
Okay,
Two little things.
yes,
This is real small.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's aware of this, but they charge you rent to put flyers on the little stands at the airport and other places. So I think you have to consider that also.
Yes.
Also, in your contract, it states there that you want a financial statement from the chamber, which is all right. I agree, get a financial statement. But not singling out just a couple. You have to be even with everybody.
Everybody.
So I need to get from everybody else.
Yeah. What we'll do,
I.e. the Port Authority. Right?
Yes, yes.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I mean, just
Everyone.
across the board.
Everyone we give money to.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you're right, I support that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and we talked, and I agree. I think it's important though to get that kind of direction from the council.
Okay, so before we go any further, did you have anything else?
no, I was just gonna make the motion to.
Oh, okay, no, we're motioning on the contract here. This is what our agenda is. In reference to the logo and the branding, that's not part of this, all right? So, one thing I can tell you that I love it, and maybe that's gonna come back up, or how you're gonna present it later on. But I wanna thank you, Olivia, and I wanna thank you for doing the work. It's good, it's a good step. We're going in the right direction, and I think we need to go, 100 miles an hour and stuff like this, all
We
right?
can agendize
Yeah.
that at your next meeting to approve a new marketing logo if that's what you want.
Well, we could do that. I'll talk to you about that to put in the agenda. But right now, we're gonna go with a contract and a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
You make a motion? Okay,
Second, okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Okay, and okay, we're gonna, on resolutions on number 1, it's gonna be an order. So, it's gonna be considered possible action of order.
And I guess if, with Monty's permission here, I think it would be the order following the last one we just did, so.
Okay.
It would be 2013-07074.
Okay.
And everything that says resolution would be order, but otherwise it stays the same.
Okay.
And then I'll prepare the final.
So on number 9, We go to number 9, item number 1, consideration and possible action of order O2013-0774. 074. Okay, so it's just gonna follow from the top one down. It's not gonna be a resolution, all right? Do I have a motion? One minute.
But, I mean, it doesn't change what you're gonna do here, so if you wanna,
Yes. Everything is the same. It's the same, except it's not a resolution, it's an order.
no, you discuss it and do everything like it is, I'm just changing the title.
The title of it, okay?
I got a question, I'm kinda new with this, Mayor.
So it's not gonna be R.
It's not gonna be a resolution.
It's
gonna be an order.
also not gonna be R20.
No.
No.
It's O2013-07-074. The top one is 73, so it's just jumping up to the next level. But everything stays the same, the whole thing, this is just a title. Okay? So, do I have a motion?
So Mayor, go ahead. So, I guess I make a motion on order number 02013 07074.
There you go.
Second.
All right? Discussion.
Mr. Machado?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Now, we're talking about the vacating the private alley.
Yes.
Yeah, this city property that they wanna give to the residents, is that what it is?
Mr. Machado, could you please explain?
Okay, this was,
What does that entail?
this is on the agenda as a result of the request of one of the property owners that's abutting this alley, okay? This is a plotted alley. Even though it's not improved or anything, it belongs to the city, okay? She is asking that the city vacate that or abandon that, okay? And if you abandon it, then it goes to the adjoining property owner. So the decision you have to make is whether or not you want to abandon it, if the city doesn't need it, and so on and so forth. And then that's a decision that's between you, whether or not you want to abandon it. and do
Is this like a setting of precedence for whatever property the city doesn't want, we can give away?
Well,
Can I jump in on that just real quick?
Go ahead.
This is different than a developable piece of property. Okay, the city would go through a different process in getting rid of that piece of property, something that's developable, something you can build a house on, something you can build, commercial property. It's different than abandoning a piece of right-of-way that is never going to be used for a road. Statutorily, that process is laid out to where if a municipality wants to get rid of a road that it's been platted and set aside for public use, but you're never gonna use it that way and you wanna get rid of it, it plays out just like Mr. Machado said. If you're gonna do it, it's gonna go back to the original property owners from whence you got that. So at one point in time, that was all one piece of property. It was subdivided and there was an alleyway called out for a public use. That alleyway is never gonna be used for that intended use.
Or even a road?
Or a road, so if we were gonna get rid of
How
it.
can we say that though? What if years down the road, a developer comes and for some reason buys all that segment? That little knife sitting there of property is gonna be worth something. But not only that, would you give your property away if it was yours?
I'm not sure.
What I'm trying to say is,
I'm not sure if
we
I'm-
represent the city of Nogales, we represent the citizens of Nogales. I personally wouldn't give any of my property away. Why should I give away the property that belongs to the residents of Nogales?
Well, see, that particular road was originally part of a bigger piece of property.
Right.
And when that was designated as a right-of-way, it was taken from that property,
But it,
original.
but it's still, you can still use it like for an easement of some sort or some.
Which is a decision that the council has to make. That's why it's coming before you as a city council.
Okay.
So we have a request by a property owner to
That they want it back, they want it back.
abandon that.
Yeah.
staff has looked at that and said we can't see any foreseeable future use for that particular piece of property.
But we don't need to jump the gun on it. We can, like you said, we can keep it, hold it. It's not costing us
Absolutely.
anything to keep it,
Absolutely.
right? We're not paying any, there's no
It is
liability.
before you for a decision.
Okay.
And you can either say, hey, yeah, let's vacate, and there's a process laid out from Mr. Machado, or no, don't vacate, and we keep it as we've had it in the past.
Well, I think if it's not costing us anything, we might as well just hold on.
Well, that's your decision. Do I have somebody from, Mr. Bárcenas, will you please come over here? And tell us about this right away, if it's worth anything, does the city benefit from it? We gonna lose anything? Tell us about it.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this alley, like Mr. Dilly was mentioning, is part of the plat that was platted many, many years ago. Portions of this alley has been given back to properties along that alley. This area that we're talking about here is in a hill, is rocky, and there is no potential to open that here. One of the owners in that area came to us and said, well, the alleys is a liability because people are dumping trash in there, people goes through that, and we don't have any control over it. We review the request and see what potential use the city could have on that alley. There is no utilities, there's no potential to open that up because in one side is a big cut, and the other side is already deeded to somebody else.
Yes.
So it's kind of isolated. And the issue to have the city to maintain that area is becoming a liability, potential liability for the city, because we cannot really maintain all the alleys there in the city. So that's why the recommendation was to give it back to the original owners, and they can take care of that area there. They can fence it, they can clean it, they can do whatever they need to do. And Mr. Machado was describing, half of that alley goes to one property and the other half goes to the other property. So both owners that have an interest in that area can maintain that and take care of it. That's why it is before you, for your decision.
I just want to clarify something, some comment that Alejandro made. If the council decides to abandon it, so be it, that's your decision, but not on the basis of liability, okay? I mean, it doesn't create any liability, and if we abandon an alley based on liability, then it opens us up for more liability on other property that we have.
I misspoke in that regard.
If you're gonna do it, that's your decision, but not on that basis.
Yes.
Okay?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Maybe this will help clear it up. If this is an alley that's on a map, you can't drive it, you can't walk it, you know, and if you wanna see it, I can show it to you here, but it's right behind Las Vegas and travels behind Las Vegas and those houses that are along Las Vegas. You can't walk on it, you can't even get to it. Some of it's so hilly, you would never be able to build anything on it. So it's not like, I don't want you to see that it's an alleyway where you can drive a car around today.
May I ask a question? Could it possibly, in the future, could you put just a little tractor in there and cut, is there any future for an easement or something that they would need?
It would be unfeasible for an easement, and all of our utilities, if I'm not mistaken, are in the street. So we wouldn't have a reason to want to go there.
Now these other property owners that would the city force them to keep it clean? Would they get fined if they did?
It would become their property.
It's their property.
Yeah. But would the city take action on that? Is that,
Well,
they're
they
saying,
can.
they're saying,
They can.
well, they're saying that they're gonna keep it clean. Can we make, in other words, can we put in something in writing that they will agree that they will keep it clean and
Mr.
not a fire hazard?
Already. Somebody can go to your house and tell you to clean
No,
your yard.
no, and a fire
Yeah,
hazard, yeah, so.
It exists already.
So,
Yes.
Right, and that's why, but are they enforced?
Yes, that's why we have an ordinance.
But anyway, personally, I don't like the idea of giving anything away that belongs to the city, but, that's my.
Yeah, well, that's your,
Mr. Mayor,
just go ahead.
maybe we could table it and then we can all go out there, take a look at it and make a decision then, because right now, I'm looking at this, John could show us the,
The actual photograph.
I went through it.
So all the trees are.
There's hundreds of properties like that,
Oh, yeah. This
and
piece
I
right
don't
here.
think the city should have anything to do with it.
start in here.
I can show you some streets that are.
Property is one of the things that's becoming scarcer in the southwest, especially in Arizona.
Take a look at it.
Just feel a little,
Did you take a look at
Mr.
it?
go to New York and try to
Mr.
get
Dilley,
something
go ahead,
to
Mr.
see.
Well, would you?
Councilman Doyle?
Hold on, Mr. Dilly, go ahead.
Councilman Doyle, to the mayor's case in point, and maybe even to John's and really what's before you, there are plats that are recorded that call out a dedicated road that Mr. Doyle will never be a road. I mean, what's the road?
Dead in Oak Street.
What's that?
Dead in
Oak Street goes all the way, and it connects back down to
west?
To west. You're never gonna build a road, it's a
No,
cliff.
but not only that, and then it goes up Boswick and it connects to McNabb.
Mr. Mayor,
It's impossible.
But on paper, you would never see that, because you
Correct.
see a road that continues, and it's dedicated, it's the city's, but you'll never build a road there. It just happens, and what's before you tonight, whether you say yes or no as a council, and I'm not advocating one way or the other, it's a common practice in municipalities, when you don't have any foreseeable use for that piece of property. That's why it's called out in state statute. There's a way of abandoning that back to the property from which that right of way came to the city to begin with. So, I just wanted to let you know that it's not an uncommon practice. It happens, and it's called out in terms of procedure, how you go about doing that if the governing body decides to do it. And there are, in fact, many instances, even here in Nogales, where the city has dedicated right-of-way, but for all intents and purposes, it just will never be used for that.
It's just that Mayor,
Go ahead.
it's just that I hear that there's, city has, it's not costing the city anything to keep it or anything. It's not, there's no liability or anything right now as far as the city goes, that they're concerned. So what's the rush or purpose of?
No, before we go any further, how many of you wanna walk that property and see it?
I do.
You wanna walk it?
Table it and
You
walk
want-
it.
Okay, let's table it, cause we're gonna beat this.
Mhm.
All right, and it's so simple, it's so simple to see.
You can pay for it.
It's so simple to see, but maybe one of these days we have a study session and we can see how many roads we have that will never be built and it's impossible to build, but they're there. Okay, so maybe we'll table this, Mr. Dooley, and then you guys can walk it. I know where it's at.
Need a motion to table it.
Well, I need a motion to table. Who wants to?
I move.
Go ahead.
Table it.
A second, okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You guys have it, tabled. All right, item number 2, consideration possible action resolution R 2013-07-007. Okay, I placed this on the agenda. It's following through with actually Tucson not too long ago unanimously also voted on this issue, and it's basically following through with what we did when we opposed unanimously the SB 1070. We talked with the chamber about having a great community. We talked to everybody about image building. We just talked about that razor wire on the fence. We need to be a welcoming city, a welcoming community, and I think you all at one time or another have talked about it and believe in it strongly, and so that's why I placed this resolution there, so asking for your support. that we do this and just open it up and, for discussion, or should we have a motion? Do you have a motion?
Make a motion,
Yes, go ahead.
that we open it up for discussion.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Discussion?
Could we have that, resolution read?
Yeah, Mr. Jolie, can you do that
Mr.
for us,
Jolie?
please?
It's in your packet. It's in your packet.
It's in your packet, Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Doyle, would you hear it?
Well, that's why you get a packet to take and read, and if you guys don't do your homework, well,
But I like to have Mr. Dilly read it.
I don't think so, Mr. Vice Mayor.
I'd like to hear
He explains it so well.
I'm happy to entertain the city council if that's what you'd like me to do.
Mr. Dilly,
How long is it?
You can come
long,
along.
it's long.
It's long?
It's late.
No. I think it's a very good idea.
No, I think it's something we need
Very
to
good,
do.
yeah.
That we can bypass?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, this is not as liberal as you think it is.
I hope
It's
not.
pretty conservative. Did I do good with that one?
Is that the short version?
That's spoken like a
Mr.
real
Doyle.
politician.
Oh, God.
I'm talking to Mr. Hernandez, the Vice Mayor, and I have to talk like that. No, you guys read it, and I'm asking for your support, and it's a good resolution, guys. I think we need to do it, because that'll send a message out there that the Nogales is a welcoming city. Nogales is a friendly community. Nogales is the safest community along the border. What we've been preaching for the past 2 years, and that's according to the Uniform Crime Program. We are one of the safest border communities along the whole southwest border. So this is the whole thing. This is a whole package. Yes.
No, and I believe that's a good positive way to go, especially with what the federal government wants to do
Yes.
with that razor wire.
Yeah.
I think
I think so. So, Mr. Hernandez, we still have quorum here, and
What happened, Mr. Parada?
we have quorum. He's busy.
But maybe he wants to vote, maybe he wants to vote on it.
Well, he can vote afterwards if it doesn't matter. So, do you have a motion?
You've got a motion in a second.
We have, okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? What was so hard about that, Mr. Hernandez?
I'm trying to
Thank
read
you
it
very
here.
much. Mr. Dilly?
Thank you.
You owe me none.
It's not that long, what are you talking about?
Danny, please go on.
It's not that long.
I know. That's why, see, you should have read it. Okay, item number 3, consideration possible action. Mr. Pará.
Did I miss it?
No, sir. You're okay.
We're on that to the motion. Is that a yes?
It's
Yes.
not that long.
Consideration and possible action of resolution R2013-07-008.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, that's on the pipeline.
Yeah, okay, so what's in front of you is amended.
Yes,
So
because it's got capitalized, or, let me show you.
I think the motion needs to be,
What it is should I read it, Mr.? No, just the whereas right here.
just the type.
No, see what happened is that the part?
Mr. Mayor, the question on the pipeline, I mean, does the city of Nogales get anything for the pipeline going through the city?
For what I understand, no, we don't get anything, but if it increases the volume of gas, we can get more growth, we can have
That could be,
yeah, go ahead, Mr. Joey.
that could be an attraction to certain industries. I mean, they kind of follow that kind of development. So if right now our pipe size is X inches in diameter and it goes to much bigger, it's going to, it has the potential of being an attraction for certain industry. And that's where most of you probably got an email from Seago, Randy and ACOS. That was their point. I think that was a point that Mr. Magruder made at the last meeting. Why not have that come down through? There's a lot of logic because there's already a committed corridor for natural gas. It's just making that pipe bigger and bringing it up to to the new age.
It's actually, it's kind of like capacity, you know, we talk about having a 100-year supply of water. We talk about having a bigger sewer line for capacity, so that we know that we can at least have more growth, no moratorium. It's basically the same way. I think it'd be positive. If it's sent west of here through Sasabe, it's not gonna be, no relation to Nogales.
Now, Mr. Mayor, on the land it's coming through, what, Unisource has an easement already on it, or is it government land, or
No,
what?
they have an easement. As a matter of fact, they have all the environmental impact studies. They have everything there. All they have to do is probably just
They have
expand
an
it.
easement because there's already a line there?
Is it Unisource that owns that, or is it El Paso that owns that?
El Paso.
El Paso owns that, so, you know, all they would be doing is coming down that same corridor with either a parallel line or replacing that line altogether. The only change between what was given to you in the original email and what's on your desk really references being able to address the particular regulatory agencies that are gonna make the decision. So there was some language change there to really capture the mark, the audience that we need to capture. That's the only difference.
You have to replace the whole pipeline, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because at one time, we tried to run the turbines with gas, and we did, and we turned on every pilot in town, so we had to go turn every pilot back on, because there wasn't enough pressure gas to get into the turbines to serve the city. So you gotta make a replacement, so it's gonna.
That, what's,
be a big argument.
Mr. Parral, what's circled there, that's the only difference, because it was capitalized, and I think that's the only thing we're gonna change on the whole, the resolution itself. But it was just capitalized, I believe, so it's nothing different, everything's the same.
So no need to change the motion, just it's ready to go.
Okay.
You already got it.
Yes, you have it there?
You look, and then we'll circle it.
So, do we have a motion?
I think we have a motion and a second.
Second, okay. We ready?
We're ready.
Good. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Ordinances, okay, we have, consideration possible action on ordinance 02013-07-004. I placed this one, remember we discussed last time, and we had to change, because it was, Mr. Machado was gonna look at it and see what we could do on that. So he already did the work on it, so it comes back to this. Thank you, Mr. Paran.
Second.
Discussion?
Is it, I guess my last question was, did it remain a misdemeanor for?
It's a class 2 misdemeanor.
Class 2.
What we did is, the version that you have has those changes that we made so that you can see what changes, the clean copy, of course.
Can you put a dollar sign at the $2 fine, because he loves firecrackers.
Oh,
Sí, ya te pusieron el dedo.
It's a class 2 misdemeanor.
If it's a Doyle, we give him 5 years.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. City man.
One more.
Okay.
Since we have a unanimous, can we have a motion to waive the second reading?
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to go ahead and waive the second hearing on,
Second reading.
the second reading on ordinance number 02013-07-004.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Number 11, City Manager's Report. Mr. Dilly?
Thank you. I just have two things I want to bring up
I
with
didn't
you.
finish what I was gonna say, Mr.
Oh, I know what you're
I
gonna
did
say.
this, Mr. Dilly.
I'm just gonna jump right in and, I'll be quick. I only have two things.
I know.
I only have two things. The first thing is just to give you an update on the IOI. We don't have a date from IBWC in terms of when they're going to get out there and begin work. We do know that they've engaged a contractor. They are on the final throes of approving the contract. We have paved the way in terms of securing a permit with Union Pacific so that they can do the bypass. Senator Flake's office continues to be monitoring and wanting to get updates in terms of what's happening. So we'll keep you apprised as that goes forward. As soon as we have a timeline when the contractor's gonna be mobilized, we'll make sure that you're in the know about that. The other thing is, you recently received a presentation. We went through a lot of council actions tied to the bond refund. It was scheduled to go to market, this bond refund, on the 16th of this month. But because interest rates have gotten worse for us in terms of seeing a savings in the deal, that's been postponed. Terry Moss is confident that the rates will rebound to a favorable side for us, but we're not going to go through that exercise unless we can show the savings on our end. So I just wanted to keep you informed on where we're at with that. As soon as we do have a renewed timeline and a date, I'll make sure that the council is aware of that. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much,
Wow,
Mr. Dillon.
that's
Proud
fast.
of you. If the vice mayor was sitting on your seat, boy, we'd have to be calling him for food for that. Yeah. Okay, item number, future agenda items. Does anybody have anything? Go ahead, Mr.
Okay, yeah, I have one that I'd like to have in future. It's mostly dealing with compliance with Union Pacific as far as blocking our railroad crossings and creating a little havoc with pedestrian and motorist traffic.
You want discussion on that? Because we do have already compliance, we have everything. Do you want them to give you a presentation, tell you what we do in case they block it for so much time?
What is the time limit?
There's, I think, 5 minutes, or is it?
We probably-
What is it, John? When the railroad blocks an intersection? Is it 5 minutes or 15? Is it?
There's two different limitations.
Yes.
There's a 10 and a 15, I don't remember,
Yeah.
it's one state, one is
Yeah, there's already a compliance, there's already on, compliance.
Okay, my next question, are they getting cited for not complying, or what is the
I don't believe we're citing the train as we speak for non-compliance on blocking the road, but I'm gonna have to relook
Okay.
at that because I believe
Let
that
me
moving is different,
No,
right?
we're
Yeah.
we're
We're
violating
getting
open meeting law.
Yeah.
If you want it on the agenda, let's put it on the agenda and for
Yeah, we can discuss
discussion,
it.
action.
Put it
and all that.
discussion.
Okay, can we put it on the
Yes.
future agenda?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's put it for discussion.
We'll get it for you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
we'll
go ahead.
definitely have it on the agenda, and Councilman Doyle, maybe we can sidebar, and I'll give you the information, and then if you wanna continue with the item on the agenda.
We can
it'll
always
be
do
on
it in the future.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bill. Mr. Diaz?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, there's, well, we've done a lot of good things here today. There's a lot of concern over property taxes. And this would be more like a special session to do a resolution against
The
31% on property taxes. We're thinking economic development, we want people to come down. Do you think they're gonna wanna come down when our property taxes are so
I
high?
didn't understand.
And we have to do it before the 24th.
Well, we're gonna have to spend, well,
What I'm
that's
saying,
okay.
basically what I'm saying is, maybe if it's agreeable to everybody here, do a resolution protesting the increase in property taxes.
Well, what we can do is, so that we don't go further into that, because we don't have it on the agenda, let's prepare that, and like you wanted in opposition, and let's, I had plans of having a study session within the next week, to talk about the police station and future police issue. Let's do that, let's put it on there, so that it'll be, before that date, so that we can show that if that's the vote, if that's the pleasure of the council. Is it okay?
We're gonna be, Councilman Doyle, Parra, and myself, we're gonna be going on a housing trip, the 17th, right?
The 17th?
We'll be doing the 17th.
We have to do it before you
Yeah.
leave.
Well, just cancel it.
That's my trip. This is my first trip.
You guys are going on vacation, it's not even a trip, it's a vacation.
We ran into a deadline there with the voting.
I know, no, we have to do it, so let's do it, Mr. Daly, can we get something
going, and if that's the only thing we do, that's all right, we'll schedule that study session later on, okay? Well, let's do that then, okay?
We'll get it figured out.
You know,
Not a study session, but a regular, special session.
It'll be a special
yeah,
session.
special session, yes, but you know what? Man, too bad we couldn't have thrown it in today.
That's what I told.
Yeah, but that's all right, we'll get it, let's get it.
Yeah, 'cause it's gonna hurt us, it's gonna hurt us.
No, let's work on it and we'll discuss it at that time.
I've been
All right?
talking to the supervisors.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Very powerful to the point is you as elected officials being present at the county meeting when they're discussing this stuff. I mean, probably a combination of both.
Yes, but they'll be in Denver.
We'll be here by then.
Oh, you'll be back by then?
Yeah, we'll be back there. We'll be back for 3 days.
Oh,
You're gonna go for a whole month.
Well, Hector, that's all your fault. Alborotando constant. All right, okay, is that it? You guys, is it? Okay, means adjourned. Thank you very much.